Good evening and a very warm welcome from Oxford Stadium in Cowley. Tonight the Spires take on the Ipswich Witches. It's a must-win meeting for the home side. It's there to for a playoff position. And we are with our teammates, Calvin Tatum and Scott Nichols. Let's talk about Premiership Speedway over the last week or so. Calv, let's start with Ipswich and another little hiccup on the road at Belle Vue. And it was Mark Lemon that said it was a statement win for the Aces.
Yes, which I completely understand. Ipswich Witches probably pre-season favourites for the championship. They've had their injury problems and they're not quite firing on all cylinders right now, but nonetheless, to win against one of your title rivals is always a good thing, and a bit of psychology coming in from Mark Lemon as well. I understand why he did that, but nonetheless, a terrific speedway meeting once again. And
another maximum for Brady Kurtz. He's really on fire, isn't he? Now let's talk about Sheffield, and it was a victory, a hard-fought one over Birmingham Brummies. And for Will Cairns, and we're going to see it at the moment, he had his debut in the Premiership, and he gets his first heat win.
Yeah, fantastic night for Will. He had his debut in the championship the night before at Poole and won his first race there as well, so he's got off to a great start. And you see him in blue here off the outside gate, makes a tremendous start. And there would have been a lot of pressure. I know he's exceptionally nervous before the meeting at Poole, and obviously stepping into the Premiership is a big step, but he's got a bright future. He's a very talented lad, and like you say, Sheffield had to work very hard. Birmingham are a really unpredictable team. They got the win, but that's the unpredictability of Speedway at the moment.
Yeah, and with that win, it means Sheffield has gone to the top of the table. So let's look at the standings then at this point of the season. It is Sheffield, as I mentioned, with 24 points, followed by Ipswich Witches, a point behind in second. Belle Vue Aces third with 21 points. Leicester Lions fourth with 18. They're your playoff teams at the moment. Outside it, Kingsland Stars on 12, Oxford Spires on 8, Birmingham Brummies on 6. So, Calv, let's talk about the two teams tonight then.
Let's do that.
Starting with the Ipswich Witches. Doyle had a brilliant couple of days recently.
Oh, delighted to see that. He had a smashing meeting in the Extra League. Of course, he scored 20 points out of 21. And there's no doubt that his performance in the Grand Prix at the weekend was much more encouraging at a slightly odd end to the evening, but nonetheless, if he can translate that sort of form to tonight, then I'm expecting him to go well, and I'm going to keep an eye on him tonight. Danny King certainly at 2, Adam Ellis is in there, Tom Brennan, the new signing, Sayfutdinov rock solid, Dan Thompson back, beginning to find his feet, so I'd like to think that this team will do well this evening. Jason Edwards coming in to replace the injured Jordan Jenkins.
Yeah, and Jordan Jenkins is out with a knee injury. But yes, so your man is Mr. Doyle, and it was a shame, the ending in Molilla, but for him, I spoke to him after the meeting.
Sure.
It was a slightly awkward crash, but luckily the hip wasn't injured.
Well, absolutely, and that was important, of course, but he looked very bizarre. I thought the handlebars had broken, or the grip had come off the handlebars, but it wasn't. It was an engine failure, and then he just sort of bailed off the bike, but it was a bit peculiar. Let's have a look at the Oxford Spires now. Janowski at number 1, who's just gone there. I'm going to keep an eye out for him tonight. He's my man to watch. Rowan Tungate and Janowski have made a terrific pairing this year. They've got a couple of guests in for Erik. Certainly Carl Howarth is there. Richard Lawson coming in for Craig Cook as well. Charles Wright, of course, the wild card in the World Championship a few weeks back in Manchester. Peter Kildemand. Now, Peter Kildemand is a former Grand Prix rider. He's a reserve, you know, and he can take 7 rides, so he could be quite somebody. Yeah, and Luke Colleen, I like him. I think he's a real try.
Yeah, look, they've had a really tough season. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. But with their emphatic victory over Birmingham, they could have a slightly different momentum now.
Well, you'd like to think so. Peter Schrock, the team manager, will be very keen to see some of that confidence flooding into tonight. Sterner test this evening.
Stern test for you. You've got to run across the centre green and get to commentary.
I'm a very athletic man.
Off you go. Let's join Scotty now. He's with the captains.
Yeah, thank you, Abby. I'm joined with the respective captains. I'll come to home captain Magic Janowski first. Magic, it's fair to say it's been a tough season so far for the Oxford Cheetahs. You're 2 riders down tonight, but in a weird kind of way, does that take a little bit of the pressure off?
Not really, you know. That's a shame we don't have full team, but we have some riders what will replace our riders. Thanks for them, and like always, we'll put our best performance, and we will see.
Yeah, it's always Ipswich is a tough team, so it's going to be a tough night.
Yeah, you know, the boys are really good, but you know, it's always good to compare with a good team. So I hope we can show some good speedway tonight.
Okay, thank you, Magic. Ipswich captain Danny King. Danny, we know the coin toss and gate positions in Heat 1, some places can prove pivotal, but does the mindset change when you come to an away track to when you're at home? Obviously, at home, you've got the confidence of knowing the track.
Yeah, for sure. I think at home, you know the track, as you just said, and you know the setups. When you come to away tracks, you want to get off to a good start. That's really important. And I think if you can control the inside gates in Heat 1, it makes a big difference.
Okay, well, we're going to get to that coin toss. I'm going to apply a little bit of pressure to you, Magic. I'm going to get you to flip the coin for me. And if Danny can call when it's in the air. And Magic flips, and what do you call it? Let's do that again. He didn't even call. Right, go.
Heads.
Go. Heads. Oh, it comes then heads. So what's it going to be, Danny?
We'll take 1 and 3 in Heat 1.
Okay, there you go. After second attempt at the coin toss, the Witches go 1 and 3, Heat 1.
So the coin toss is harder than riding a bike without gears or brakes, it would seem. There is another Speedway meeting happening in the country this evening. It's at the National Speedway Stadium, Belle Vue versus Birmingham. Here's Dave Rowe with the team news.
Well, Belle Vue's home form has been rock solid throughout the league season, and that was on show again last Monday with a 52-38 win over Ipswich. Brady Kurtz raced to his third successive maximum. Dan Bewley only dropped 1 point. In all, they had 11 race winners in the meeting, just underlining once again the strength of the Aces spearhead. They have had mixed fortunes on the road. One of their defeats came at Birmingham just over a month ago. The Brummies were 47-43 winners at Perry Bar, and they were also victorious at home to Kings Lynn last Monday before battling hard at Sheffield on Thursday, eventually going down 50-40 with big points there from Tobias Mujelak. Tonight's team news sees Belle Vue once again without Norik Badorn after a crash in SGP2 last Friday, so it's rider replacement at number 2, and that will mean an extra ride for Zach Cook and also more outings for reserves Tate Zischke and Jake Mulford. Kurtz, by the way, unbeaten in his last 15 rides on this track. The Brummies welcome back Keenan Rue, who missed out at Sheffield due to a Polish commitment. He should be strong round here. Matty Zagar won the title with Belle Vue 3 years ago. A late change of plans at reserve sees Jack Smith come in. That's because recent signing Ben Barker is out after appendix surgery. Here in Manchester, it's Belle Vue against Birmingham.
Dave, thank you. Let's meet the two teams tonight. Is Calvin back in that commentary box? Ollie Allen is there for sure.
Never in doubt, Abby. Never in doubt. I'm breathing out of a different part of my body at the moment, but there we are. But I managed to get up here, but Ollie was on standby, of course. Right now, the first man down check is a man back from injury, Ollie. He is Jason Edwards. We saw him break his shoulder blade, I believe it was, not too long ago. So he is back here looking for a return to action. Dan Thompson, another rider, also back from his broken scaphoid.
Yeah, back from injury. Very consistent reserve, though, and you'd have to say one of the top ones in the league.
Indeed he is, and Ipswich Witches will be very keen to see him improve, that's for sure. Emil Sayfutdinov, well, he doesn't really need to improve too much because he's always riding out of the top draw, this man. He has third season for the Ipswich Witches and has done a remarkable job. A very likeable chap as well, and there's no doubt he puts his best foot forward pretty much every time he rides for the Ipswich Witches. Tom Brennan, a winter signing, and he's here, and he knows how to get around this track, Tom Brennan. I think he won the Benevolent Fund meeting earlier in the season. Adam Ellis up next, of course, the British rider who was actually born in France, lives in France as well, flies up and travels into the UK, and Adam in the engine room of the Ipswich Witches. Danny King, the captain, who has teamed up very nicely with the #1 rider. And Danny, he's veteran stage now, 38 years of age. It seems time has flown by, but Danny is keen as ever and is fit this year. And Jason Doyle, who has been riding particularly well just of late. And I must say that he'll be hoping to translate that continental form to a big performance for his home club here tonight at Oxford. So they are the visitors, and they will be keen to do well. They've already won against the Oxford Spires a couple of times this season. So Luke Colleen, I like Luke Colleen. He's a young Australian rider that's got something about him, I think. I think he's a rider that's going the right way.
Yeah, he is very exciting rider, very enthusiastic about the sport, which is always good to see.
Indeed it is. Peter Kildemand now, 35 years of age. Peter's been around. He burst onto the Grand Prix seas pre-COVID. I must say he really did set the world on fire, but then has sort of drifted out of the sport somewhat. Hasn't had the season he would have liked for the Oxford Spires, but down at reserve could be quite useful indeed. Now, Erik, unfortunately, is on the sidelines. and he will be replaced this evening by the guest Richard Lawson. And now Lawson is a very handy man to have in your team. He's ever reliable, and I'm expecting him to do the business. Charles Wright has been moved down to number 4, where Craig Cook would have been, but Charles Wright, of course, the wild card in the 2 British Grand Prix. He's here tonight, riding for the Oxford Spires. Now, Carl Howarth, of course, he is the second guest for the Spires this evening. He replaces Craig Cook, excuse me, who has COVID, and Carl Howarth riding for the Leicester Lions this year, coming in. Do you think the 2 guests should be quite useful here this evening? And Rowan Tungate rides at number 2. Now, he's been moved to number 2 because he has formed a terrific partnership with Maciej Janowski in recent times. Maciej Janowski riding at number 1 tonight, the Polish superstar, former Grand Prix star, and he is my man to keep an eye out tonight for the Oxford Spires. So they are the 2 teams this evening. I think that this should be a hotly contested match. We will make our way down to Abbey in the pits.
Seeing the riders come off, Richie Hawkins does fist pumping his guys. This should be a good meeting tonight, hoping that it's a really competitive one. The hashtag is OXIPS. It doesn't actually roll off your tongue that well, so it might go horribly wrong. OXIPS is the hashtag. Get your questions for Scotty Nichols. I'll ask him later on the show. When we come back, we'll be getting on with the action here in Oxford.
Here we go then for the final time tonight. Rain coming down, big 4 laps ahead here. Revs are up, tapes are up. Kurtz has made a lovely start, he gets himself to the front. Smarslick's roaring round the fence. Here comes Bewley up the inside, now Smarslick going for it again. Kurtz is going to chop his nose off. Smarslick's chopped back to the inside, but Kurtz, Doyle's down. Doyle is down. Will the red lights come on? They haven't yet.
They'll have to.
Yeah. Such a shame for Doyle.
It's good to see Jason Doyle up on his feet. We'll get to see the replay of this one now. Once again, Kurtz, super stuff from him. Elects to ride right around the inside. Smarslick right around the outside. Only one thing on his mind. There's they see the bike grab from Doyle. Oh, it looks like the throttle's come off. I'd have to say maybe the... You'll have to watch this close.
Well, his hands come off the handlebar.
I think surely the throttle's come off. I mean, you don't just let go of the handlebars.
Hand came off the handlebar. Weird. Very unusual incident for Jason Doyle. Here we go then. Star Marshall's away, green lights on, tapes are up. Smarslick missed it completely. Kurtz nails it. Once again, Smarslick. Kurtz has got out of shape, but 2 wide from Smarslick. Is back in 3rd place. So Kurtz is away. Looking good for a 2nd consecutive Grand Prix win. Here comes Smarslick. Round the outside into 2nd place. Damage limitation for Smarslick.
I tell you what, if Kurtz can win 2 Grand Prix on the trot, it's going to do his confidence the world of good. He was already confident, but if he can take a couple of points out of Smarslick here, it will be a big deal psychologically, not only for him, Smarslick as well.
Indeed he will. Brady Kurtz with a stunning start. 2nd time out of gate number 2. Smarslick just didn't get off the start line. Hasn't been making starts all night. Kurtz in a class of his own. Smarslick 2nd. Settled for 2nd place with Bewley back in 3rd. But Brady Kurtz, the man from Australia, back-to-back Grand Prix wins in 2025. He reduces the deficit to 9 points in the championship chase. What a season it's turning out to be for Brady Kurtz.
Again, I don't really know what to say. I think the first winning goes off was cool, but this one feels just as good, no doubt. I'm not sure what it's down to, but I think my goal this season was to be consistent, and luckily I'm consistent at the top.
Welcome back to Oxford. We're hoping for a really close encounter tonight. Heat 1 looks tasty. Your commentators this evening, Ollie Allen versus Kelvin Tatum.
Thank you very much, Abby. It's a delightful evening, and I must say we are thoroughly looking forward to this matchup between these two teams. Ipswich have had the upper hand so far in the A fixture, home and away. They won here earlier on in the season, and then at home actually had a convincing win against the Oxford Spires. But here this evening, after a victory last week, the home team will be hoping to get a little bit of momentum in the second half of the season. Mathematically, they still can make the playoffs. It's a tall order, and they simply have to get to winning ways. Riders are making their way towards the tapes for the opening race of the evening. As I say, the sun is beaming down. We had a lot of rain in the area yesterday and overnight, so pleasing to see that the sun is out here tonight. Richie Hawkins, the Ipswich team manager, looking for a big performance from his team. So the line-up for heat number 1, we have Danny King in the yellow helmet colour off the inside. Gate number 2 in blue is Rowan Tungate. Jason Doyle out of gate 3 in white, and Janowski off the outside in the red helmet colour. Two big stars on the outside. Got to say, Rowan Tungate, who was at number 1 early season for the Spires, has now paired up with Janowski. Peter Schroep keen to keep those two riders together. I actually saw them in the services on the M40 on the way here today. They'd just flown into Heathrow Airport. But gates 1 and 3 was the way it went. Danny King winning the coin toss a little earlier on. So riders just taking their time, adjusting the clutches. Nervous moments before the first race gets underway. Oh, here they come forward now. Our referee this evening is Craig Ackroyd, of course, has been on GP duty as well. We're away. What a start from Doyle. Absolutely fabulous out of gate number 3. He hits the first turn. He's in front, coming up in second place. It's tight. Doyle lifted down the back straight. We've got Tungate now getting in the thick of the action as well, trying to come around the outside of Doyle. Janowski's trapped at the back. Good opening lap of speedway, but a brilliant start from Doyle.
Yeah, fantastic start from Doyle from gate 3 there. Lifted on the back straight, lost a bit of momentum, and that allowed Tungate to make up a lot of ground on him. Tungate's now tucked into second place. He looks like he's got that position nailed, with Danny King in third place, looking like a 4-2 on the cards at the moment for Ipswich.
It is. Janowski can't quite land a blow, but Doyle out in front, being chased very hard indeed. Is there drama? Oh yeah, Tungate's packed up. Absolute drama. And that is handing a massive 5-1 on this final lap to the visitors. Such a shame, because Tungate had looked good there, but Doyle gets off to a fast start tonight. Fast out of the tapes and comes through in flying colours. Danny King was gifted second place there. Ollie, you noticed it. You saw Tungate just running out of path, looked like some sort of mechanical issue. So the ideal start for the visitors here with the big 5-1 in heat number 1. Spires will be disappointed with that, but there's no doubt about that this man just very, very recently has suddenly found the spark and the key to it, and was absolutely jet propelled away from the tapes in heat number 1. 3 points for Jason Doyle in heat number 1, 2 points for Danny King in second place, 1 point for Janowski back in third, and unfortunately for Rowan Tungate, his bike just gave up the ghost at a vital moment. But a big start for the visitors here, the Witches.
Yeah, you got Jason Doyle there. Fantastic reaction from gate 3. The bike hooks up all the way to the first bend. Danny King joins him on the inside in the yellow helmet. And if you keep your eye on Jason Doyle as he comes off the first bend, there you go. Bike's in the air, both feet off the foot pegs. We don't recommend it, but he's held on to it. He keeps the lead. Tungate now comes around the outside. He has a little go at Doyle here, puts him under a little bit of pressure. Doyle has a look. He checks his shoulder, covers that move. And now you see Tungate in second. This might be where he breaks down. Yeah, if you watch Tungate in the blue helmet, he's close to Doyle, and the bike just lets go suddenly. Possibly a chain or a blow-up or something like that, but it's a very sudden bike stop, and the boys did well to miss him behind. But yeah, great start for the Ipswich Witches, 5-1 for them.
Yeah, the ideal start. Rowan Tungate will be disappointed with the issue he had there, because he fails to score when he was in a really strong position and actually putting the leader under pressure, as you rightly say, Ollie. So riders appearing for heat number 2. And they're making their way. Now, these riders can actually take up to 7 rides in a meeting. We've got Peter Kildemand, a former Grand Prix rider, down at reserve for the Oxford Spires. If he can just find a bit of form, Peter Kildemand could well be a match winner for them. Luke Killeen is a hard charger, the man in the blue helmet colour who we're following to the start line. But the pairing here for the home team, they will now have gates 1 and 3 for the home team. So they'll be hoping to utilise that, as did the Witches in heat number 1. Heat number 2, the lineup for you is Peter Kildemand on the inside in the red helmet colour. Gate 2 in white is Dan Thompson. Luke Killeen, the Australian, will come out of gate number 3 in blue, and Jason Edwards, back from injury, his first meeting here this evening, on the outside in the yellow helmet colour. These points are just as vital as the big hitters in the team. Peter Kildemand on gate number 1, you've got to fancy his chances.
You'd have to, just vastly more experienced than the other riders, former GP rider. You really, if you're an Oxford fan, Oxford team manager, you're expecting 3 points here from Kildemand from gate 1.
And Peter Schrock will be keeping his fingers crossed. He is the team manager for the Oxford Spires. Hasn't been the season they were looking for. We wish Erik...
From one extreme to the other.
So here we go then, heat number 2. Tapes are up and we're charging into the first corner. Kildemand makes it, but round the outside it's a fabulous effort. And Jason Edwards, how about that on his return to the sport? He hits the front now, all of a sudden Peter Kildemand round the outside. Sensational effort there from the Danish rider after being passed early doors. Dan Thompson up the inside of his teammate this evening. They're packing in for 2nd and 3rd with Luke Killeen at the back. But Peter Kildemand fires himself back to the front.
Yeah, what a first lap from Kildemand. All action, as always, headed straight to the outside. Uses experience to use that faster part of the track. He made easy work of Jason Edwards there to hit the front. And now you can see Edwards in 2nd with Thompson in 2nd. They're under a little bit of pressure from Killeen, so they'll have to keep their wits about them.
They will indeed. Killeen trying hard, he never knows quite when he's beat, but Peter Kildemand has dominated heat number 2. Had a bit of a fright from Jason Edwards early doors, but Kildemand on the back wheel celebrates in style. And it's a shared race, so the advantage is still retained by the Ipswich Witches, but an encouraging ride from the experienced Peter Kildemand in heat number 2. Just for a moment, Jason Edwards got a lovely run round the first corner, but wasn't able to hang on to the lead. But there's no doubt that that man, Peter Schrock, will be looking to this man tonight. He can have a huge influence on the outcome of this meeting. Peter Kildemand, 3 points for him, rode nicely in front. Jason Edwards on his return to the sport in 2nd place, 2 points, 1 point for Dan Thompson in 3rd, and Luke Killeen fails to score in heat number 2. Well, watch this again. It's a shared race, so it's still good news for the Witches. They've got a 4-point advantage, but yeah. Peter Kildemand.
Yeah, if you watch Jason Edwards there in the yellow helmet, really good start from gate 4. Not an easy place to get across from in heat 2, but he's made a great effort. You see, now Kildemand, watch him in the red helmet. He immediately heads to the outside, heads up into that darker, deeper part of the track, gets the back wheel hooking up on the outside, and from then on, he just clears off. If you look at his style, he's all action. Here we see again, red helmet colour, Kildemand moves to the outside. Edwards is in front, racing under control, he thinks. Kildemand to the outside, up into that cushion, and slingshots around the outside. And from then on, he checks out and wins by a long way. Here we go, on the back wheel, out of the last corner. Bit of style over the finish line. You can tell he's looking confident.
Yeah, quality stuff from Peter Kildemand in heat number 2. Heat 3, some big hitters here. We've got some changes coming up for you, which I'll try and make you aware of. We've got Carl Howarth coming out here to replace Charles Wright. He's riding at number 3. And then we've got Charles Wright drops into number 4. Excuse me, we've got Craig Cook, who's been replaced by Carl Howarth. So it's all swaps and changes. Carl Howarth, of course, riding for the Leicester Lions this year, but coming in to replace Craig Cook, who has COVID at this stage and is feeling poorly. But Charles Wright, who is really settled into being an Oxford Spire, and he'll be looking for a big performance this evening. And Peter Schroek will be relatively happy with the way his team have started. Obviously a disappointing opening race, but the engine failure had something to say about that. It was just unlucky. But heat number 3, an opportunity here. But Adam Ellis and Tom Brennan, I would suggest, also a strong pairing for the Ipswich Witches. That's Ellis just having his rear chain adjusted, probably. Yeah, he's now on his way around to the start line. So it's a lovely evening, healthy crowd, good atmosphere, proper summer speedway we have here tonight in Oxford. So the line-up for heat number 3, we've got Adam Ellis, a late arrival to the start line. He's on the inside in the white helmet colour. Charles Wright, gate number 2 in blue. Tom Brennan, gate 3 in yellow. And Carl Howarth, the guest, goes from the outside in the red helmet colour. It's a good race last time. As I say, I'm expecting this meeting to be pretty tight. There's no reason, although Ipswich have had the upper hand over the Spires, but the meeting here was close. Wasn't too much to choose between the two teams. So a result here, but the Ipswich Witches do have gates 1 and 3. Here we go then, tapes are up. And we're roaring into the first corner. Adam Ellis makes a lovely first turn. He's joined by his teammate Tom Brennan. Tight coming out of turn 2 on the opening lap. Coming through into 3rd place. That down the back straight is Charles Wright. But out in front, I must say now, Tom Brennan and Adam Ellis, they're looking really strong here as a pairing.
Yeah, what a start from the Ipswich boys. Ellis controlled the inside of the first bend, allowed his teammate Brennan round the outside, and now the pair of them are both using that outside to stretch their lead. Really good pairing this for the Ipswich boys, and they're looking strong out front.
They are indeed. Tom Brennan, as you rightly say, allowed to come round the outside of Adam Ellis. That's what team riding is all about. Out in the dirt, charging on, leaving the Oxford Spires in their wake. Bit of a demonstration, this one, by the Ipswich Witches, the visitors, and Tom Brennan and Adam Ellis doing the business in heat number 3. Visitors have now had 2 5-1s in the first 3 races. A little ominous for the home team, and Tom Brennan is really beginning to settle nicely for the Ipswich Witches. He's got a very busy week. He's got just 1 day off in the next 7. He is charging around all over Europe this week, but Tom Brennan starts his evening off in fine style here tonight. So Brennan out in front, nice ride from him, 3 points. 2nd place for Adam Ellis, 2 points for him. Carl Howarth coming through in 3rd. Charles Wright misses out in heat number 3. Strong pairing, as you rightly say, gates 1 and 3, working a treat for the Witches.
Yeah, both the Ipswich boys here make a good start. Ellis from gate 1, he controls the inside. Brennan's there in the yellow helmet on the outside. Ellis knows he's here, and at this point I did wonder whether Ellis had gone across the corner too far. He goes wide, but Brennan manages to get into that dirt just before him and slingshot round him. From then on in, the Ipswich boys look really good. There you see a slow-mo of Tom Brennan coming into the corner, looking fully in control. He's one of Great Britain's sort of up-and-coming riders at the moment, and he's really sort of coming of age, and great ride for him.
Yes, you'd know a lot about that, having been part of the Great Britain setup, of course, Ollie, and you've seen him be part of the Speedway of Nations, but not really riding. But Tom is moving in the right direction, that's for sure. He's maturing as a rider. Now, heat number 4. Can the Oxford Spires just bounce back a touch here? They've got a guest in for Erik Riss, and we wish Erik Riss all the very best. He's got this really awkward health issue, which gives him some blurred vision, seeing all sorts of specialists. I've heard he's gone off to Switzerland to actually have it diagnosed, so we wish him a speedy recovery. But Richard Lawson coming in to replace Erik Riss this evening, a solid rider, that's for sure. We've got Luke Colleen, who's on his way round to the start for his 2nd ride here in heat number 4. And we've got, there's the guest for Erik Riss, that is Richard Lawson, who is a reliable fact. He's going towards a veteran stage of his career, but there's no doubt generally puts his best foot forward wherever he's riding. So riders are now making their way to the tapes for the 4th ride here tonight. It's 13 points to 5 after 3 races, so a healthy lead just beginning to emerge in the first 3 races for the Witches. Heat number 4, Ed Woods, he's off the inside. in the yellow helmet colour. Luke Colleen coming out of gate number 2 in blue. Emil Sayfutdinov out for the first time tonight. White helmet colour for him, gate 3. Richard Lawson in the red helmet colour. He'll come out of gate number 4. Sayfutdinov on paper has to be the favourite. We saw Jason Doyle make a lovely start in heat number 1 from gate 3.
We do. Gate 3's been good so far, and you'd have to say Emil would be favourite for this race. Experienced campaigner and really one of the best riders in the world on his day.
Indeed he is. He's had the weekend off. He's been training. He says he's fit, raring to go. Doesn't ride in the Grand Prix, which is such a disappointment these days. A man who finished 3rd in the World Championship and then unfortunately was hooked out because of the conflict in the Ukraine. Can you believe it? Here we go then. Green light start, tapes are up and we're charging into the first corner. Crikey, that's tight. Brilliant start from Lawson. He comes roaring across from the outside now. Sayfutdinov coming on strong. Dives to the inside going into turn 3. Oh, this is going to be close. What a move from Sayfutdinov. He came from another postcode to charge up the inside of Richard Lawson. Can't count him out. Lawson initially off the outside, but Sayfutdinov, classy move.
Yeah, really tight first bend there. Lawson made a great start from gate 4, clamped everyone on the curb, and from nowhere, Emil's found a load of speed going into turn 3. He's dived across the inside of the corner and cut Lawson off, and he's now stretching his lead in front. And you'd have to say the Russian looks absolutely fantastic out in front.
Indeed he does, and with Jason Edwards back in 3rd place, there's a heat advantage once again on the cards here for the visitors, the Ipswich Witches. Sayfutdinov in a class of his own in heat number 4. Stunning move as he dived up the inside on the opening lap. And Sayfutdinov, absolutely superb out in front. Big 3 points for him. Looks like something's exploded on the infield as well, just like Emil Sayfutdinov exploded into action in heat number 4. And there's no doubt it is a pleasure to watch a man at the top of his game, and Emil certainly was there in his opening ride tonight. So a 10-point lead now for the Witches. Sayfutdinov stunning out in front, 3 points for him. Richard Lawson back in 2nd place, 2 points. Edwards picking up a useful point in 3rd, 1 point for him, and Luke Colleen misses out for the 2nd time tonight in heat number 4. Let's just watch this again. This was a lovely move by Sayfutdinov down the back straight.
Yeah, the action starts here on the first bend. You watch Lawson in the red helmet colour. He makes a great start. He knows exactly what he wants to do. He wants to get across the front of Emil Sayfutdinov. And you watch Emil here now. He switches to the outside. Unusual move that. Lawson covers it off. He then cuts back to the inside, kind of squares off the corner going in, dives across the front of Lawson, and kind of blocks him, and then accelerates into the lead and clears off. Really was a spectacular move, and not a usual sort of move for a track like Oxford. Here's here again, Emil in the white helmet, cuts back to the inside, coming into the bend. Smarslick-esque type move, I would say, going into turn 3, and looked really good out in front. And you'd have to say things looking ominous for the Oxford Spires at the moment.
Indeed they are. Brilliant start from the Ipswich Witches. Let's get down to Abby.
Yep, it has been a brilliant start for the Witches. They've had 3 heat advantages in the first 4 heats. Oxford Spires will be looking to bounce back. That hashtag tonight is OxIps. I told you, OxIps is a tricky one. Any questions you've got for Scott Nichols, put it using that hashtag and we'll ask him later on the show. Okay, when we come back, we'll be resuming the action here in Oxford.
And here's our coverage from Manchester Belle Vue against Birmingham, and a flying start by the Aces in the opening race with Tate Zischke in blue and Brady Kurtz in red, outgating Tobias Michalak and Paco Castagna for a fast opening for the Belle Vue Aces. Zischke in need of big results around the Manchester circuit. Perfect start for him with Brady Kurtz sat in there and Tobias Michalak in white, unable to make an impression in the opening race as Belle Vue opened up there with a 5-1. A response though from the visitors in Heat 2. Their riders making good starts here. Contact on the first bend. Jack Smith in white trying to move Zischke aside, with Sam Hagan in yellow going around the outside. Then Jack Smith gets swamped by the Belle Vue reserve duo Zischke and Mulford going either side on turns 3 and 4. Smith battling hard in white, coming in as a late call-up for the Brummies, with Ben Barker out with appendicitis. But good stuff from Sam Hagan, the rising star for the Brummies, leading the race. Zischke in second place. Smith having a go in third, trying to get back at Mulford, but in the end dropped things back as Belle Vue content with a 3-3 to maintain an early 4-point advantage. Once again, fast starting in heat 3 from the Belle Vue duo. It's Zach Cook in blue and Jamin Lidsey in red. Too fast for Eunice Jepperson and Keenan Rue out of the start there, and the Belle Vue upper order certainly starting off the meeting in flying form, very fast away from the gate. Their second 5-1 of the meeting, meaning that after heat 3 the home side racing into an early advantage by 13 points to 5. Here we go then with heat number 4, and in white Matti Zagar making the start here. Decent 1-2 by Mulford in blue, and Bewley has missed out on the opening bend. He's now trying to gain speed around the outside in red. Matti Zagar with the advantage, the former Belle Vue rider who won the league with the Aces back in 2022. He knows the circuit well, and he'll have to try and fend off Dan Bewley, who's chasing hard. Bewley switching for the inside on bends 1 and 2 to come alongside Zagar, and Zagar just pulling clear once again into the third bend. The Birmingham man still leads, but under increasing pressure from Dan Bewley, who almost got through there off the fourth turn, but Zagar still covering things off for now, but under mounting attack from Bewley, who this time is building speed around the outside and trying to get all the way around the Slovenian on turns 3 and 4. Zagar holding it tight on the top bend. Bewley sweeping around the outside, then neck and neck into the last lap here. Tremendous stuff with Mulford in third place, and Bewley this time right round the boards on turns 1 and 2 to make it round Matti Zagar. Fabulous action at the National Speedway Stadium, and Dan Bewley, after a great battle with Matti Zagar, does take the win on the line. Bewley over Zagar, with Mulford in third place. Best action of the meeting so far between Bewley and Zagar. Belle Vue get a 4-2, and a strong start to the meeting for the home side. It's Belle Vue 17, Birmingham 7.
Welcome back to Oxford Stadium. So after 4 heats, it is the visitors who are leading by 10 points, 7-17 currently. And we've got another meeting. We mentioned that earlier. It's taking place at the National Speedway Stadium. Dave Rowe is there. Here is the update on Belle Vue versus Birmingham.
Well, Belle Vue have made a strong start to the meeting here in Manchester. The action from Heat 1 saw Tate Zischke take the rider replacement ride for the injured Norwich Ladorn and make a flying start in blue, to be joined by Brady Kurtz in red as they out-trapped Tobias Mijelak and Paco Castagna. It was a 5-1 in the opening race for the Aces, and they added a second 5-1 in Heat 3 to make it 13-5 after a Heat 2 win for Sam Hagan, the Birmingham rising star. Lidsey and Cook took a 5-1 over Jepperson and Rue in Heat 3, but we've seen some great stuff here in Heat 4 with Matti Zagar in white out in front and Dan Bewley in red throwing everything at him for the entire 4 laps, and Zagar defending really well, fending off Bewley's inside attack for a couple of laps before Dan Bewley switched for the outside at the start of the last lap, and they were neck and neck into lap 4 with Zagar and Bewley going at it before Dan Bewley just swept himself clear once again on the back straight round the outside to get the better of the former Belle Vue man on the final lap. Great stuff between Bewley and Zagar, and Bewley wins that race to the finishing line. Good start here for Belle Vue. It's Belle Vue 17, Birmingham 7.
Dave, thank you. Well, it's almost time to get back with the racing here at Oxford for Heat 5. Just to remind you, though, you can enjoy the tennis on TNT 3 tonight for highlights of Wimbledon. So all of the action, and a reminder too that we'll have live coverage of both the men's and the women's single finals this weekend, and it will be coverage with a difference. It will be a watch along, so that should be absolutely brilliant for the Wimbledon final this weekend. But here in Oxford, have the home side got an answer for the dominance so far that the Witches are displaying? Ollie and Cal, back to you guys.
Well, they'll be hoping so, Abby, because it hasn't been the start they've been wanting. They've been the second best team so far. Let's keep an eye on what happens here in heat number 5. Maybe they'll be able to just turn it around, but they're up against it with the pairing from the Ipswich Witches here. line up for heat number 5. We've got Carl Howarth coming in, gate number 1 in red. Gate 2 in yellow is Danny King. Charles Wright comes out of gate 3 in blue, looking for points, failed to score first time out. And a fine ride from Jason Doyle in his opening ride. He's in the white helmet colour and he goes from gate number 4. Gates 1 and 3 have just been a bit of an advantage, but I've got to say Jason Doyle looked pretty impressive first time out. But somehow Howarth and Wright have got to hit the front and get a heat advantage.
They have. It's not going to be easy. Doyle's got a chance from gate 4. We saw Lawson get across from gate 4 in the last race, so it's you know, you'd have to say the platform is available to him.
Yeah, I'm just looking down from our position right over the start-finish line. It looks like there's a little bit of grip there. They have done a bit of track grading prior to heat number 5. It's generally has always been historically a difficult start position because it's a short run to the first corner. That's been sort of negated a touch because they've made the track wider here. But here we go then, heat number 5 takes her up. We're charging in at the first corner. Look at this from Doyle. He's just about got there as well. Around the inside, red helmet colour is Carl Howarth. They roll down the back straight. We've got and the man, oh my goodness, the man in Charles Wright almost backing it into the third corner. But I say Howarth is right on the pace here, pushing Jason Doyle, a fast starting Jason Doyle, but Howarth coming on strong in second place.
Yeah, excellent start there from Doyle from gate 4, clamped the other riders on the curb. Howarth, like you say, he's not giving up. He is a fighter. We know he won't give up until the end of the race. And he, whoa! Howarth's right foot off the footbed coming into the first bend.
Yeah,
I thought he was going to turn it around there. Great save actually from Howarth.
Uncomfortable for Carl Howarth, but he's a trier. You can see how much he's giving, but Doyle has got it under control now. It's looking like it will be a shared race in heat number 5, which doesn't really help the Spires with a 10-point lead being retained because the fast starting Doyle, who is transforming his season around now. He's had all sorts of injury problems, but just of late has shown some really good form on the continent and has started in spectacular style with 2 races and 2 wins here tonight, so he'll be pleased with that. And 10 points to 20 at this stage. Result for you, Doyle out in front, 3 points for him. Carl Howarth, who was lurking there in second place, 2 points for him. Charles Wright back in third, his first point of the evening, 1 point, and Danny King misses out in heat number 5. Yeah, a shared race, so it's a little bit of damage limitation, but the Oxford Spires, they need more than this, but Doyle in great form tonight.
Yeah, very confident start from Doyle. We could see here from the commentary box, his bike was angled across from gate 4. He had one thing on his mind, and that was to make the start and get across. So you can tell confidence is running high with Doyle at the moment. But Howarth, they see he's close to him there, and he doesn't give up. He never does. You're guaranteed maximum effort from Howarth in every race for the duration of the race. But at one, I don't know if we'll see it, but at one point in this race, Howarth almost loses it coming into the corner. Right leg off the foot peg. I don't know if it's this lap. That was it there. That was it. Kelvin, you said he looks uncomfortable. It made me uncomfortable.
Yes, it's not... well, we've both been in those sort of situations. Suddenly he was fighting for his life there just to stay on it, but he recovered. Fair play to him. But for Jason Doyle, just having a chat with Adam Ellis there, a terrific start for the man who rides at number 1 tonight for the Ipswich Witches. And I think a lot of people will be pleased to see the form returning for Doyle, who has really been through the mill with his injuries in the past couple of seasons. So riders have been released for heat number 6, where we'll see a big match-up here between Janowski and Emil Sayfutdinov, 2 riders that will know each other very well from the battles they have in the Extraliga in Poland. Rowan Tungate, who will be hoping that the mechanical gremlins have been sorted out. Does look like he's on the same bike, actually. It looks like there's a bit of shale on the fork cover, so yeah, maybe it was just something that maybe I don't know, the ignition cap came off, or I don't know, but that is the same bike. So he's giving it a rev up. He's going to give it a bit of a practice start. Yeah, not too bad. Maybe just check the rear chain, make sure all is well. Yep, mechanic out there. So 3 riders at start. We're just waiting for young Rowan. He's got over a minute, so there's time for him to come round. And we just are now having it confirmed. It was the primary chain, which is the 2 chains on the bikes. One goes from the engine to the clutch, the other one goes from behind the clutch to the rear wheel, and that front chain that spins around at high RPM snapped at a rather awkward moment for rowing. So I would suggest there's probably a brand new one on it now.
I would imagine so, yeah.
So here we go then, heat number 6. The lineup for you, Sayfutdinov's on the inside in the white helmet colour, Janowski right alongside him, red helmet colour for him, Dan Thompson picked up a point first time out, yellow helmet colour in gate number 3, and off the outside is Rowan Tungate in blue. Tungate will have watched the way a couple of riders, Richard Lawson and Jason Doyle, have made starts from gate 4. He'll be trying to replicate it. Tungate can be a rapid starter on his night. He's right up against gate 3, and as a home rider, he'll be able to get away with that. As a visitor, possibly not. Here we go then. Heat number 6. Revs her up, takes her up. We're roaring into the first turn, and Sayfutdinov's made a lovely start. Round the inside comes Janowski, Tungate coming on as well. But Sayfutdinov out in front. And he's roaring away. But Sayfutdinov out in front, being chased hard by Tungate.
Yeah, great start there from Sayfutdinov from the inside. Looks comfortable in front. Tungate giving chase in second place. Bike gremlins seem to have been solved, so he looks a lot better than he did in Heat 1. And Magic taking that third place to make a 3-3 at the moment.
Yeah, Sayfutdinov, just like Jason Doyle, very much in top form this evening. Roars away. Tungate's giving chase. I say he's on the pace, but running wide. Sayfutdinov very much in charge with Janowski, I must say, tailed off in third place, which is a little bit of a surprise. But out of the last corner, Sayfutdinov once again winning in style. Ipswich Witches, their top men, doing the business here this evening. Tungate back in second place. Janowski not on the pace, which was a bit of a concern. And out the back.
So once again, all the riders returning to pit lane. So we'll cross up to David in race control. Then give me
So Sayfutdinov wins the race. Back in second place was Rowan Tungate. Third place for Janowski. There's the result now. Emil Sayfutdinov 3 points, 2 points for Rowan Tungate. Janowski 1, and Dan Thompson misses out in heat number 6. So a shared heat for heat number 6, and we'll see it once again. Sayfutdinov, terrific.
Yeah, great start from Emil there on gate 1. You can see he has a little look to see if his teammates there. Intelligent riding from him. He sees that Dan Thompson hasn't quite made it, so he moves out to stop the run from Tungate. Very clever ride, very experienced there by Emil. He's now got onto that sort of wider racing line, and that's where he'll stay for the duration of the race. Tungate tucks into second, and Tungate looks good in second. His speed is good. He stays with Emil. Like you said, Magic didn't look brilliant in third, and it's someone like Magic, you'd possibly expect a little bit more from him. So, yeah, again, not great for the Oxford Spires. They need to start winning races.
Indeed they do. They've only had one heat victory so far this evening, and that was Peter Kildemand. I'm expected to see lots of Peter Kildemand. As a consequence of that, he did look quite confident in heat number 2. So right now there's a 10-point deficit to the Ipswich Witches from the Spires. Spires 13, 23 points for the Ipswich Witches, who have turned up and have started like a house on fire so far this evening. They have gained that 10-point lead, and in the last couple of races have maintained it. Richard Lawson, who replaces Erik, is on his way round for the second time this evening, and so is Peter Kildemand. Got to believe that these two riders look pretty useful in their first outings. Is this the opportunity for the Oxford Spires off gates 1 and 3 to try and claw their way back into this meeting? You've got to believe there is a chance. Heat number 7. Big racing prospect. Richard Lawson's on the inside in the red helmet colour. Gate number 2 in white is Adam Ellis. Peter Kildemand, who won the heat number 2 in fine style, he'll come out of gate number 3 in the blue helmet colour. And off the outside, Tom Brennan, who was very impressive in his first ride, he'll go from the outside in yellow. Brennan, who is clearly beginning to find some real confidence of late, is quite determined. That guy who's just saying hello to his mother back at home. She might be asleep or maybe just getting breakfast, I don't know. But nonetheless, Jason looks pretty relaxed, and why not? It's going well tonight.
Yeah, he is, yeah. Jason looking very comfortable, very relaxed. It's
Your
nice
turn.
to see... oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I was just having a little rest.
Yes.
Yeah, Doyle's on form at the moment. He'd be very happy with how
Thoughts
things
on
are
this
going.
race? Thoughts on this race? Gates 1 and 3 for the home team, Ollie.
Yeah, Gates 1 and 3 are certainly looking the favourites, and Kildemand looked fantastic in Heat 2, and it'd be good to see him hit the front again and try and stretch his legs. But the Ipswich pairing, that's a solid 3 and 4, one of the best in the league, I'd say.
Yes, it is. It's one of the reasons why they were pre-season title favourites. I fancied them, then they've had the injury problems, but they're beginning to get fully fit, coming back strong. Here we go then, tapes are up. We're charging into the first corner. Good start from Adam Ellis. Tom Brennan's had a real clout going into the first turn. Brilliant stuff from Lawson in the first turn. Oxford Spires on the 5-1 this early doors. Kildemand coming round the outside of Lawson. Lawson's probably only just realised that it's his teammate, but they've hit the front here. Untidy first lap, but somehow they've managed to retain the 5-1. Kildemand and Lawson doing the business for the home team.
Yeah, great first lap from the Oxford boys. Kildemand took care of Brennan going into the first bend, gave him a big shove, and he's kept it wound on around the outside to join his team partner at the front. Like you said, I think Lawson spotted him quite late and only allowed him just enough room to get past. But this is just what the Oxford team manager, Peter Schrock, would have wanted to. They need to start fighting back, and maybe this is the start of it.
Could be a game changer here this evening in Oxford. The home team for the first time this evening really getting their act together. Lawson brilliant in the first corner. Kildemand showing the same form he had in heat number 2. Big 5-1. Big confidence boosting 5-1 as well for the Spires. The Witches have been in charge so far. And now the deficit is reduced to 6 points. And I would suggest, I kind of hinted at it earlier on, that Peter Kildemand could be busy. I guarantee he will be. He's had 2 rides, he's got 2 wins, and he can take up to 7. So Peter Kildemand having a terrific evening so far. We'll see the points here. 3 points for Kildemand out in front. Lawson with a really clever first turn comes through into second place. 2 points there. 1 point from Adam Ellis, and Tom Brennan, who had a real clout in the first corner. He misses out at heat number 7, and all of a sudden the Spires have woken up here, Ollie, and they meant business in heat number 7.
They have, yeah. There you see, I thought Brennan got a nudge. He didn't actually. He lifted going into the first bend, but that allowed Kildemand a clean run round the outside. Here you see Lawson's in front. Has he spotted him? I don't think so. No. Kildamand's nearly touched the fence to get round him.
That was more luck than judgment.
It was, but he did it. He got it done. Here we see again Brennan from gate 4. There you see, he lifts. I thought it was a nudge. It wasn't. The bike lifts. He goes wide. That's him out of the race there. Richard Lawson has a look coming off the first bend, but then coming into turn 3, he takes it upon himself to run fairly wide. But credit where credit's due. Kildemand keeps it wound on and gets round the outside, and 2 wins out of 2 for Kildemand. So the Danish reserve looking like it could be a trump card.
Indeed, absolutely. That was an encouraging signs for the home team. Abby, down to you.
Thank you, guys. I'm just going to go and see if I can grab a word with Mr. Doyle, because he's had a brilliant last few days. 2 heat wins, but then the 20 points for your Polish club and into the final at the weekend in Molillo as well.
Yeah, it's been a pretty hectic few days, but I'm enjoying it when the results are there. Tonight, hopefully, goes our way again.
Yeah, and we're going to have a look at your final, so we'll get the monitor so that we can see. It's just behind you, but we'll get it up so we can see that. Yeah, we'll go this way so we can see it on tape, because it was a little bit of a moment where it looked awkward and we didn't know what had actually happened.
Oh yeah, well, I come into the corner and I went into the dirt and the engine seized, so it had ripped my hand off the handlebars, and then it kind of the engine went into free mode, and it sent me off. So it's unlucky, but I'm happy to be in the final.
I'm just happy that that hit wasn't aggravated again.
I was well happy that it stayed in. So I was the family jewels got a battering, but no, the leg stayed in. So I was laying on the track just thanking me lucky stars.
Oh, so pleased. But what's been the turning difference then? What's just because it just looked like the pace, the form, and then tonight it's so relaxed, Doyle.
Speedway, I think it goes like a roller coaster. You just got to keep at it, and hopefully the good times come. And there's always going to be them moments where it's really tough, but making starts, it makes it a lot easier in this sport.
Is it slightly annoying then that Riga's that little bit further away when you've got this momentum? Do you want to keep going?
No, it gives me more time to be fit, ready for the last 3 Grand Prix, and we're still racing a fair bit in Poland and England, so I'll be on the bike a lot.
A And at the moment, looking brilliant for the Witches. I know they've just clawed back a few points, but everyone's looks like they're firing tonight.
Yeah, them two always drop a few points over the week. Nah, I'm joking. They're all right. They're all right.
Go speak to him. You actually just went and had a chat with Jason Edwards. What were you saying?
I was just trying to help, but he's sound. He knows what he's doing, and he's probably been here a lot more than me, but I'll just tell him what setup I'm running, and he's bang on with it. Yeah.
Doyle, it's so good to see you when you're in this spirit. Let's have a quick break. When we'll come back, it'll be Heat 8 here in Oxford.
Back here at the National Speedway Stadium, Belle Vue lead by 17 points to 7, and here is Heat 5 with Jamin Lidsey in red making the start, but Zach Cook this time is squeezed out in blue between Tobias Mijelak and Paco Castagna. So what can Zach Cook do here from the back? It's Lidsey out in front, has really hit some decent form at home in the last couple of weeks, and he raced lead here, but the Brummies riders almost falling over each other there at the end of lap 1 with Mijelak and Castagna, and Zach Cook here trying to wind up the outside on the back straight into bend 3, and he's trying to force his way past Castagna. Real effort here by Cook out the back, still being squeezed out by Castagna at this stage. Out in front to Jamin Lidsey, well clear. Mijelak now established in second, and Castagna it wide there off bend 2, which might give Zach Cook the chance down the inside into the third bend, and Zach Cook and Paco Castagna battling away for third place, and Cook's alongside him now off the corner and then chops off Castagna into the final lap, and Zach Cook comes through into third place. So it looks like being a 4-2 here for the Belle Vue Aces to extend their lead to 12 points. So Tobias Mijelak in second place, but Jamin Lidsey a clear leader and a clear winner, a 4-2 in heat number 5. Heat 6 gets underway, and Brady Kurtz in red makes a sharp start. Matty Zagar in white trying to go with him. It's Mulford in blue in third, a 4-2 against a Belle Vue Asting stand, but here comes Zagar down the inside trying to move Brady Kurtz aside, and not many can do that around Manchester this season. Also a battle for third place with a battle on with Jake Mulford holding on for that third place as things stand, and now Brady Kurtz stretching clear on the back straight for the second time. Early effort by Matty Zagar down the inside did not pay off, and Kurtz, who has been so imperious on his home track really throughout the season, but certainly in the last few weeks since the Grand Prix in Manchester, look at the lead he's got now over the Birmingham man. Matty Zagar himself has done plenty of laps around the National Speedway Stadium, but Kurtz is pretty much too quick for anyone round here these days. The man currently second in the World Championship, taking it all the way to Bartosz Marslik when he looks over his shoulder and he can see the gap he has over his rivals. Zagar in second place, teammate Mulford in third, and a 4-2 once again to the Aces in heat 6 as Kurtz takes the flag and now lead by 25 points to 11, and that lead was maintained in heat 7 because Dan Bewley out in front here, similar distance this time against Jonas Jeppersen and Keenan Roux. The Brummies duo combined to hold off Tate Zischke out the back, but once again the strength of the Belle Vue heat leaders is there for all to see, and when Jamin Lidsey steps up to support Brady Kurtz and Dan Bewley, they have three who are very, very hard to beat around this circuit. The distances they win their races by is very impressive, and Dan Bewley does it there in heat 7 against Jeppersen and Roux. 7 gone, Belle Vue 28, Birmingham 14.
Welcome back to the ROWE Motor Oil Premiership. It's a halfway point between the Oxford Spires and the Ipswich Witches, and there's a deficit of just 6 points now, 18-24. And before we go out with Heat 8, just a reminder of other two-wheel action, but without an engine. It's the UCI Mountain Bike World Series, and it lands in Andorra this Friday, where you can look forward to high altitude and high adrenaline racing. The riders will be tackling some of the hardest tracks of the season. Single track descents, punchy forested climbs, and all, as I mentioned, at altitude. That's live from 4 on TNT Sports, but we are live from Oxford, and it's time for Heat 8, and back to your commentators.
Yes, thank you very much, Abby. As riders come out for heat number 8, I will just bring to your attention that Graham Miles, who was a very popular chap down in the southeast in particular. He has passed away at the age of 75 this last weekend, which was very sad. He had a bad accident 54 years ago, and he rode for West Ham, Hackney and Canterbury. Very popular man, and sad news that he lost his life and passed away this weekend. So our very best wishes go out to the family and all connected with Graham. So heat number 8, 6 points in it now after 7 races. Peter Schoep will be encouraged by the 5-1 in the previous race. So the lineup for heat number 8. Here we go then, heat number 8. Luke Killeen will go off the inside. He needs a point or two. He has failed to score so far. Jason Edwards on his return to the sport has done pretty well. Picked up points in both rides so far this evening. Rowan Tungate coming out of gate number 3 could well be favourite here for heat number 8 out of gate number 3. And Danny King off the outside. Failed to score last time, but has picked up a couple of points in his first ride here this evening. Midway point of the evening here, Ollie, and I've got to say after the 5-1 and heat 7, gates 1 and 3, heat number 8, Oxford Spires must be encouraged. They must be believing that they can pick up more points here.
Yeah, you'd like to think they fancy their chances. I think Tungate in particular off gate 3 will be looking for a race win here. He looked fast in his last one.
Will indeed, but Luke Killeen, who's had a disappointing evening so far, he's got that inside gate. You've got to believe he's going to hustle that bike and try and get amongst the points this time. Here we go, the green light's on, revs are up, away we go. Wow, Rowan Tungate, absolutely sensational out of gate number 3.
He's jumped that,
Killeen hasn't got it. Will we see a red light? Yes, we do.
Yeah.
So a little bit too keen, which is nowadays. Back in the day,
he's been watching you, Kelvin. He's been watching you.
You get away with that. I didn't do it too often, probably once a night. Yeah, he was a bit keen there.
Yeah.
So he'll have a warning for that from Craig Ackroyd, the referee, and he'll be notified about that. And you can clearly see he's dropped the clutch before the tapes have actually moved, but he didn't touch them.
No.
So these days, you can't get away with that. Probably a decade or so ago you could, but all 4 riders will come back round to the tapes. Pressure on. Rowan Tungate failed to score first time, picked up a couple of points last time, a paid win, but I've got to say, he is. This is a race on paper that Tungate will be looking at pre-meeting and going, I need to win that one.
Yeah, you'd have to say so. But I think the fact he twitched at the start probably says a little bit about the nerves from Oxford at the moment. You know, they're keen to get back into the meeting. They want another heat advantage, and he was desperate to go there from gate 3. So it's always a funny mindset when you've been pulled up for that. You go to the tapes the next time for the rerun, and it changes things, doesn't it, Kelvin?
Indeed, it does. So riders coming forward to the tapes for the second time of asking for heat number 8, 6 points in it. Another heat advantage here, and we're going to have a meeting on. Janowski, who hasn't had a good start, he's on the left, Peter Kildemand on the right. Well, he's started like a house on fire. He's had a couple of rides, and guess what? 2 race wins. He's going along very nicely. Heat number 8 then, the lineup, second time of asking. Killeen's on the inside in their blue helmet colour. Jason Edwards, gate 2 in yellow. Rowan Tungate, the fast starting Tungate with a warning. He comes out of gate 3 in red. And Danny King off the outside in the white helmet colour. What's his mindset now? Is he feeling it? He knows he's got to behave himself.
He does. I think when you've been warned like that, you know you can't move at all. If anything, it's probably a disadvantage now, I think. He'll be feeling the nerves even more than he was. So be interesting to keep an eye on him now.
Indeed, Jason Doyle, who we've heard from. Big smiles on Jason Doyle's face, and that's good to see. Hard-working man. Probably no harder working speedway rider in the world. Here we go then, heat number 8, revs up. Tapes are up, away we go. Jason Edwards made a good start, but a better one from Tungate. He really did hassle that bike to the first corner, but unfortunately the woes for Killeen continue. Just can't quite get the bike working as well as he would have liked. Oh my goodness.
I think Danny King's gone down. He has.
So a drama at the back. Danny King's come off the bike.
got the bike back up, so the race will continue. That is good news. Good news for the Oxford Spires, because they effectively have now got a 4-2 on the cards. Tungate out in front, class of his own. Jason Edwards steady away in second place, and Colleen is going to pick up his first point of the evening.
Yeah, really good start from Tungate. Didn't let the pressure get to him. He's cleared off in front. He's having fun in front. He's pulling wheelies down the home straight. But Danny King, I think he just overturned a little bit going into turn 3. Spun the bike around. He managed to get up and off the track, which was good to see. But great ride from Rowan Tungate, and this is huge for Oxford. 4-2.
It is. 5-1 in the previous one, backed up with a 4-2 there, albeit with a bit of good fortune with Danny King just overdoing it. But all of a sudden, a bit of momentum for the home team. 4 points in it now. Just the 4 points in it. 22 points to 26. And got to say, the Oxford Spires are battling back here this evening at the midway point. Tungate, who started with a DNF, has bounced back with a win here in heat number 8. 3 points for him. Jason Edwards doing a good job actually for the Witches tonight. 2 points in second place. 1 point for Luke Colleen, who was tailed off actually early doors, and Danny King just getting it wrong and falling off in turns 3 and 4. He fails to finish here in heat number 8. 4-2 for the Oxford Spires. 22 points to 26 now. They've reduced it down by 6 points, and it's looking good. So we'll see this race again.
Yeah, great start there from Tungate in red, but Edwards is there. Edwards is solid, makes a good start from gate 2, puts Tungate under a little bit of pressure going to first bend. Now keep your eye on Danny King here in the yellow helmet. He goes in on the outside, the bike's driving in, and then it just lets go. I mean, whether he's been caught out by the track grade, maybe there's not as much grip as he thought. And here we see again Danny King, white helmet. He goes in on the outside, and normally you'd keep your eye on the bike there. Back wheel just lets go all of a sudden and goes away from him, and he slides really quite gently into the fence. And good on him for getting his bike up off the track. You know, I've seen before he tactically could have laid down, but he didn't. Did the right thing.
Okay, let's get some reaction. Scotty's down there with Danny King.
Yeah, Kelv, I am with Ollie. He's in commentary, Danny. Ollie was just saying in commentary that the back wheel just let go on you in the replays there.
Yeah. He's watering the track to keep the dust down, but he's not bringing the material back down, so it was my fault. I came in deep around my teammate, hoping to catch a dirt line, but before I got there, I hit the wet stuff and the back wheel just broke on me. It's frustrating, but we learn from it, we go again.
Sometimes we don't, but like you said, it's frustrating. We can, sort of say about the track conditions, but it's frustrating when that happens because it's uncharacteristic.
Yeah, it is. I was racing. I came in deeper than I probably would have normally to go around the teammate, thinking the dirt line would hold me, and just got caught out by the wet conditions there, but it is what it is. It is, mate. Good, you're okay, mate. Thanks for getting up. Back to you guys.
Thanks very much, Scotty. Good to hear from Danny King. Obviously, just a bit of a parlour error there, that one. Although, for a moment, I thought it was you, Ollie, out there. But, crikey, I thought you were back in the Kevlars.
You wouldn't see me crash, Kelv?
No, you would not. No, never
well,
made a mistake
anyway.
that day.
Not today.
Not today. Heat number 9. This meeting has come alive in the last couple of races. 5-1 to the home team, backed up with a 4-2, albeit with a bit of good fortune. But you know what? You need a bit of good fortune every now and again. And a 10-point lead now reduced to a 4-point lead. So encouraging signs for the home team. But guess what? Emil Sayfutdinov's out in this one, and he's unbeaten so far. He's going along he's quite useful, and he's going along very nicely. But there is a couple of riders here in Charles Wright and Howarth representing the Spires that will be giving 100%. They'll be trying to keep it to a 3-all if they can. If Sayfutdinov gets away, Schrock will be happier man at this stage. Heat number 9 then, the line-up. Charles Wright's on the inside in the blue helmet colour. Sayfutdinov unbeaten so far this evening. He comes out of gate number 2 in white. Gate 3 in red is Carl Howarth, who's doing a bit of gardening there. And off the outside is Dan Thompson in the yellow helmet colour. Thompson, who hasn't quite recaptured the form he had early season, broke his skate forward, rode in the SGP2 first round in Melilla at the weekend, struggled a touch in truth, but said he learnt a lot. But still, I'm sure Ipswich are waiting for some of that form to return.
Absolutely they are. You'd have to say they're not firing on all cylinders at the moment, but it's coming to that time of the year where they're going to want to.
Started strongly, just last couple of races, the Spires are making a contest of it.
There's Jason Edwards on the right. Good performance from Jason Edwards so far this evening when you consider he's been off the bike for several weeks. And Doyle, Danny King, just kicking himself a touch. He'll be back out in heat number 11 to make up for that mistake he did in the previous race. Here we go then. Heat number 9. Tapes are about to come up, they have, and it's all about Sayfutdinov. Sayfutdinov makes a lovely start. And guess what? Dan Thompson, we were talking about him returning to form. Looks like he has here in heat number 9 at Oxford, because they've powered to the front and the Witches are responding in fine style. Superb stuff from them. Have the Spires got anything in the locker? Because Sayfutdinov and Thompson are out in front, but I tell you what, Charles Wright's closing in on Thompson.
Yeah, Charles Wright in third place. He's chasing Thompson down. He's not going to let him relax for a second. We know Charles Wright is a hard charger. He's coming in a little bit deeper on turn 1 there. He cuts back, but Thompson's giving himself some breathing room there. He looks good in second place. Great ride from the young reserve.
Thompson under a little bit of pressure from Charles Wright. We've got a lap to go. Sayfutdinov comfortable out in front. Absolutely on top form here this evening, but more importantly for the Witches is the fact that Thompson has found some form, found some speed, and he has come through well here to join his teammate. Massive 5-1, just to halt the momentum from the Oxford Spires in heat number 9. And they stretch the lead once again to 8 points at the conclusion of heat number 9. Sayfutdinov unbeaten so far from his 3 outings. Really does look in tip-top form here tonight. So the result of heat number 9 here with you. Sayfutdinov the 3 points in front, immaculate. Dan Thompson, a strong ride in second place, needed to be. 2 points for him, 1 point for Charles Wright back in third. And Carl Howarth misses out in heat number 9. Got to say that's a quality, isn't it, from a good team. They're all of a sudden just beginning to feel the pressure of the home side. Boom, go out and get a big 5-1 in heat 9.
Yeah, it's nice to have a rider like Emil to call upon to sort of put out the fire when you need it. Great start there from gate 2. Really, really classy start. He makes a good start. He moves across the inside of the first bend. He knows his teammate's not quite there. Clever move from Dan Thompson. He cuts back, moves to the inside, stops the runner Charles Wright. And for a couple of laps there, Thompson was under pressure from Wright, but as the race settled down and Dan Thompson settled down into that second position, he looked comfortable, to be fair. And good ride from the youngster. He needed that.
He did indeed. All of a sudden, a ride like that can turn your fortunes around. As I say, not easy coming back from a skateboard. It will ache, it is uncomfortable. And Thompson in heat number 9, a valuable second place behind Emil Sayfutdinov. So 31 points for the visitors to 23. Heat number 10 coming our way very shortly. Rowan Tungate will come out once again, who has rode well in heat number 8. A fine ride from him. I'd say Janowski's a rider that there's a bit of concern about him, I would suggest, this evening. Got to say that he needs to improve his performance. Hasn't been at the races, just scored 2 points and a bonus point. From your number 1 from 2 rides, you'd be looking for a bit more of that at home. I know that may sound harsh, but the responsibility is on that man to produce when you ride at number 1. So heat 10. 8 points in it now. Riders are at tapes. Look down on the track here at Sandy Lane. So good to have Speedway back here in this part of the world. 15 years we were silent, and now we're back. Heat number 10, line up for you. Rowan Tungate goes from the inside in the blue helmet colour. Tom Brennan out of gate 2 in yellow. Gate 3 in red is Janowski. Adam Ellis, gate 4 in white. Now, this really and truthfully, you've got to believe that Tungate and Janowski will be looking at this as an opportunity to really get them back on track. Both quality riders. We haven't seen the best of Janowski so far this evening. This would be a good moment for him to hit the front.
Yeah, if Magic's going to turn up now would be the perfect time. They've got the favoured gates, and Tungate's looked fast. He looked great in his last ride. He won heat 8, and he's got the favoured gate 1, so you'd have to say they probably look the stronger of the pair.
On paper, quite possibly they do. Got to say that there's no doubt that Tom Brennan, who'll come out of gate 2, he'll be looking to try and get back amongst the points of a disappointing ride last time. But there's no doubt that with 8 seconds to go, these guys have got to get the hurry up. Here they come forward now. Craig Ackroyd is our referee. They're just in time, in the nick of time. revs her up, shapes her up. Great start from Tungate. It's tight into the first corner. Brennan's in second place, but Janowski round the outside for the first time tonight. Really good from him. Adam Ellis now coming through into third place, but Tungate, the Australian, superb stuff from him. The Ipswich Witches are queuing up behind Janowski. Brennan looks very threatening, but here we go. Brennan out in the dirt, so's Janowski. It's tight down the back straight.
Oh, Brennan round the outside of Tungate. He split the pair going into turn 3. Tungate's now coming back across the inside. Can he stop him? No. Brennan's got second secure. He's now setting out after Magic in front. Tungate's still there on the inside. Excellent ride there from Brennan to split the Oxford pair.
Great ride from Tom Brennan to split the pair, as you say. Janowski now coming under an immense amount of pressure from Brennan. Brennan roaring into the final corner on the last lap. Down the back straight. Here he comes on the inside. Stunning ride from Brennan. He's come from nowhere. He's
in the fence.
So commentators curse. But what a gift for the home team. They pick up a massive 5-1. Brennan, you have to feel for him. He rode his heart out there. That was a heartbreaking time for him. Really was stunning. I spoke too soon. I thought he'd done it. But he charged into the bottom corner and just got it all wrong. And Janowski and Tungate pick up a very valuable 5-1 in heat number 10. Home team hanging on to the Witches. 4 points now, 28 points to 32. Home crowd delighted. Not always totally convincing Janowski, but he won't complain about that. He's picked up the win, and Tungate also inherits second place. 5-1, a handy time to get it. Let's have a look at the result. There it is, Janowski 3 points out in front, 2 points for Rowan Tungate. Adam Ellis picks up third place, and the luckless Tom Brennan did not finish. And as I say, you must have some sympathy for him, because he rode out of his skin there in heat number 10.
Yeah, he really did. Great ride from him. Here we see from the start, Adam Ellis drops the clutch first, actually, but Tungate and Magic Janowski, their bikes work best to the first corner. Janowski in the red helmet, he chooses to run wide. He stops the run of Ellis. Tungate has a look for his teammate. He sees him coming. And at this point, the Oxford boys have got it under control, but Tom Brennan in the yellow helmet, if you keep your eye on him, he's working the outside at the moment. And at the moment here, you've got the Oxford boys on a 5-1. Brennan goes in deep into turn 1. He cuts back. He manages to sort of follow Magic round the outside of Tungate to get into second. And here you're thinking it's a great ride by Brennan just to split the pair. But he's not finished. He goes after Magic now. He doesn't give up. He hunts him down until the very last lap. And I'm sure we'll see him in a minute take a big dive up the inside of Magic. Here we see he's working that outside. He cuts back again. He's building his speed up. They now enter the last lap. Tom Brennan out onto the outside, looking to cut back. There it is. Gets the bike in line a little bit earlier. Dives up the inside. Turns really late into turn 3, and he just can't stop the bike in time. He turns it hard, and there's just not enough material there to hold him up, and down he goes into the fence. He'll be angry, he'll be disappointed, but really it was a fantastic ride by him.
Such a shame for Tom Brennan, but we can hear from the man himself. Tom Brennan joins Scotty.
Yeah, thanks, Kel. Tom, mate, it would have been a sensational ride. Just coming a little bit hot on the last bend, just ran out of room.
Would have been, but unfortunately I ended up on the floor, so very...
Don't beat yourself up, mate. You did all the hard work. It's just, I know you'll be disappointed it didn't pan out.
Is what it is. We have to learn from that. That was a very, very junior crash, and definitely is good enough for me.
You said you'll have to learn from it. What can you learn? I know it sounds a really stupid question, but what can you learn from that?
I think I passed him a lot earlier than what I thought. I thought that he was right there, and actually he probably wasn't, so I probably could have come on a little bit.
Wing mirrors.
Yeah, maybe I need to have a brain in my head. That's probably next step.
Well, the brain got you there in the first place, mate, but thanks for chatting to us. I know you're disappointed. Glad you're okay. Back to you guys.
Yeah, thanks. Tom Brennan just kicking himself a touch, but I think he's been a little hard on himself because he'd ridden really well there and just ran out a very slick track, and the bike skated across the corner. I would say the only thing probably, if he could do it again, he just needed to turn like you suggested, maybe a little earlier, and possibly he would have held on to the lead. But nonetheless, it was a fortunate moment for the home team, and they get right back into this contest at 28 points to 32. Anything else to add to the Tom Brennan moment?
No, same thing really. I think he just turned too late. Like Tom said, I think he thought he had to go in that hard to get past Magic, but he'd already made that move. I think Magic had knocked off and decided he'd had enough going into that turn. And yeah, Tom just turned a little bit too late, carrying too much speed, and with the track in the condition it's in, he didn't stop in time, and yeah, I'm sure if he did it again, he'd turn earlier.
So heat number 11 has got Jason Doyle, who's unbeaten so far. He's on the inside in the white helmet colour. Richard Lawson, a guest this evening for the Oxford Spires. He'll be gate number 2 in red. Gate 3 in yellow is Danny King. Like Tom Brennan, he found himself on his backside last time, looking to bounce back here. And Peter Kildemand. Now, Peter Kildaman's unbeaten as well. Could be quite a tester. He's in the blue helmet coloured gate 4. He will be very keen to try and lower the colours of Jason Doyle. As I say, Peter Kildemand, a former Grand Prix rider, back in British Speedway after some lengthy absence. Didn't really get going this season, but here tonight on TNT, he has turned up. 35-year-old Danish rider has ridden really nicely so far. So Doyle coming forward. Doyle's using a belt drive on his bikes now. Most of them are primary change. We know that Rowan Tungate broke one. Richie Hawkins keenly looking on. Bit of a topsy-turvy night so far, but here we go. Heat number 11. It's like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious. Danny King, keen to get away. He's got the start gate all wrapped up around him. Did he touch the tapes before they moved? That's the key thing here. Yeah, he did. He did. So he's well and truly excluded for that, unfortunately. So his evening has gone from bad to worse.
Yeah, frustrating night for Danny. Yeah. You see him, yellow helmet, green lights on, and he goes really early.
Peter Kildemand even twitch a touch. Exclusion lights on. Yellow exclusion light, so he is out. So Dan Thompson will come in to replace the luckless Danny King this evening. Just not his evening. Don't know if Peter Kildemand even twitched a little bit on gate 4, but there's no doubt that Danny King was a little bit too keen there. So Dan Thompson actually had a good ride last time, picked up a 5-1 in heat number 9. Who knows, he may well be able to do a job here, but all of a sudden, bit of pressure on the Witches.
Yeah, there is, but with Thompson coming in, he had a great ride last time out, so he'll be feeling good about things, and that's the good thing about having a strong reserve. When, you know, if someone touches the tapes like Danny King, in comes Dan Thompson, and he can do a job here, so he'll fancy his chances, I think.
So Dan Thompson just making his way round to the tapes. So just have a look here. Peter Kildemand, does he move to an absolute fraction, and that's all it needs to be sometimes. And then all of a sudden Danny King was on his way and destroyed the tapes, which have been fortunately repaired, and they are back in place. Dan Thompson has made his way out to gate number 3 here for heat number 11. Still got a little bit of time, yeah, just under a minute to go before he needs to be at tapes ready to go. Second time of asking for heat number 11. It's Doyle on the inside in white, Richard Lawson out of gate 2 in red. Dan Thompson is the replacement here for the excluded Danny King, gate 3 in yellow, and Peter Kildemand, who's going to having a good night tonight. He comes out of gate 4 in blue. You know what it's like, you've been there, somebody just moves their arms. Sometimes that can be enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you're really wound up to go.
Yeah, full concentration, you're looking to the side of the tapes. If you're looking across someone and the first thing you see move, you're going to go. So
it's a gutting moment, that's for sure, out of the race. But as you say, Dan Thompson coming in, looked more encouraging ride from him in heat number 9. He'll be hoping to do something similar here in heat number 11. The Witches 4 points up at this stage, and the home team have been fighting and scrapping hard. Here we go, tapes up, and away we go, all over the place. Richard Lawson that time. I've got to say, Dan Thompson, a brilliant first corner from Lawson. Where on earth did Doyle go? Oh. Doyle's got squeezed out of it going down the back straight. He hit the front, but very wide, and all of a sudden Peter Kildamand's got in there. Dan Thompson's involved, but the Oxford Spires have got themselves into the front. This is going to tie it all up. Right round the outside, Lawson, Peter Kildemand having a terrific night in second place.
Yeah, what a first lap. So much to go over. Definitely going to need the slow-mo for that. But Kildemand, He didn't make the start, but he's managed to muscle his way past Doyle. He took him out of contention. Now, Dan Thompson's looking up the inside of Kildemand. Lawson looks good in front. You see Dan.
Brilliant stuff here. This is going to be a turning point in the night. All of a sudden, a massive 5-1 here. Doyle went very wide in the first corner, got squeezed out of it up down the back straight. And you've got to say, Lawson very clever in the first turn. And Lawson and Kildemand put the Spires right back in it. And this meeting comes alive at the conclusion of heat number 11. Doyle will be gutted about that after making a good start. But 33 points all. We thought it would be tight. Can't get any tighter than that. And Richard Lawson, as a guest here this evening, has certainly ridden out of his skin there. And Peter Kildemand remains unbeaten. Home fans absolutely delighted, and they haven't had too much to cheer this year. It's been a tough season for the Spires. Lawson, lovely ride, 3 points out in front. Peter Kildemand, a solid second place, 2 points for him. Dan Thompson, the reserve replacement, they're coming in, 1 point for him, and Jason Doyle misses out. And all of a sudden, with the big 5-1 to the home team, it's all levels up at 33 points apiece. Let's watch it again.
Here we go, keep an eye on Doyle in the white helmet on the inside. So he's just about made the start. Now he's made a decision here that he's going to run wide. Watch Lawson in the red helmet, he's turned back. He comes across the corner and takes the lead. Kildemand also cuts back on Doyle and blocks him off coming out of the first bend. Kildemand then stays wide and manages to... it's wide there, he now cuts back, I think. Lawson nearly hits the fence. He's gone so wide it's almost hit the air fence. Kildemand cuts back and now gets up the inside of Thompson. Riders changing places all over the place. Here we see again Doyle from the inside in the white helmet. He elects to go wide. Lawson cuts back from the inside. Now Kildemand cuts back on Doyle, squeezes him up against the fence, and the Oxford Spires on a 5-1, and just what their team manager needed, and it's brought the meeting alive.
All action stuff in heat number 11, that's for sure. And this meeting is all square. Abby, how about that?
Yeah, the meeting's alive, and there's a lot more smiles now down in the Oxford Spires camp. We're just watching Rowan Tungate and Magic Janowski. They've got a great pairing, and they're just having a chat. But I'm going to interrupt and speak to Magic. He is the captain. Magic, a quick word. It's now even, and it's game on.
Yeah, it's getting interesting. Peter is flying tonight, and it's really cool to watch and give us a lot of fun. So we feel like we get back a little bit, but we try to not get too excited. Just try to push last few heats and try to win.
I've been watching you watch the racing, and when you're saying about Peter Kildemand flying, when he came in, you just gave him a massive congratulations.
Yes, you know, like this kind of heats make smile on your face, yeah? And same with me, even if I'm racing. I like to watch. I know how good Peter can race on the bike and how crazy he is sometimes, but it's very exciting to watch.
Yeah. Magic, thank you for chatting. It's got the smiles on all the fans' face as well. Now, I've been given on X some encouragement of how to say the hashtag Oxfips. Did I get it right? I'm questioning myself now, but use that hashtag and get any questions to Scotty or Kelvin and Ollie in the comms using that, and we'll be back after this.
Well, we have a more one-sided encounter in Manchester with Belle Vue in complete control. 28-14 up after 7 races, and here is Zach Cook in red and Jake Mulford in blue making the start in Heat 8, going clear of Hagen and Castagna for a 5-1. So a big Heat 9 coming up for the Promis, with Tobias Mujelak in yellow taking a tactical sub-ride, going with Matti Zagar, their other out-and-out Heat leader, and Zagar it is who makes the start here over Zach Cook and Jamin Lindsay, but Lindsay stalling around the outside here in red to take the advantage, going around the outside of Zagar, and Cook coming in too with Mujelak at the back of the moment, the tactical sub-ride, and it's all going horribly wrong for Birmingham in Heat 9. They throw in Mujelak for a tax-up ride, but neither he didn't make the gate, and Zagar got beaten up by Lidsey at the end of the first lap, and now they find themselves in 3rd and 4th places, and Zagar in fact now has got mechanical failure coming over the start-finish line, so that really puts the cap on it there for the Brummies, because Lidsey and Cook have it over Mujelak in 3rd, and the Belle Vue stretching their advantage with what should be a 2nd successive 5-1 here in the Brummies' strongest race of the meeting, and it's all gone very wrong for them. But Jamin Lidsey keeps on winning. He's in very strong form indeed. This will be his 3rd win of the meeting, and Lidsey comes off that final turn along with Zach Cook in there with him for a big 5-1 against the Brummies tax sub in Heat 9. Heat 10 gets underway, and Brady Kurtz trying to come across here from the outside in red, but coming through on the inside, Keenan Rue in yellow, and Kurtz could get forced out here by Jepperson in white, but Kurtz with a burst of power around the outside on turns 3 and 4 to hit the front of the bend once again. Decisive stuff from Brady Kurtz in Heat 10. The Belle Vue skipper has got so much speed, being challenged by Keenan Rue trying the inside route here, but Kurtz knows too much for him at this stage. He has the advantage. Trouble there at the back. Tate Dishke coming to a halt. This will be a 3-3 for Birmingham to at least stem the flow of Belle Vue 5-1s, but they cannot get near Brady Kurtz, and they cannot get near Dan Bewley, and they cannot get near Jamin Lidsey either. Brady Kurtz in emphatic form in Manchester once again, with the Brummies riders running 2nd and 3rd. That's Keenan Rue and Eunice Jepperson in for the minor places, but no challenge at all on the Belle Vue number 1, who gets the win there for the 3-3 in Heat 10 to maintain their 22-point advantage, and that margin also maintained in Heat 11. This time it's Dan Bewley with the clear advantage over Tobias Mujelak and Paco Castagna. Is there any stopping these Belle Vue Heat leaders in Manchester tonight? They are certainly on for an emphatic home victory with 11 races gone in Manchester. It's Belle Vue 44, Birmingham 22.
So not sure, but happy birthday for Wednesday. We'll do it again on Wednesday anyway. Mark, happy birthday for the 1st of July. That's Love Die and all at Speedway. There we go. That was a big shout out. Very good.
Welcome back to Oxford. Well, with 4 heats remaining, it's now all level, 33 points apiece. And considering Ipswich started the night with 2 5-1s in the first 3 heats, there was a team meeting, and Richie Hawkins really trying to get the boys to fire back in this last part of this meeting. It's a really tight contest now. Let's head over to Manchester then and get the latest from Belle Vue versus Birmingham.
Well, the Belle Vue Heat leaders have been dominant here in Manchester, but their middle-order combination also doing the job. This is Heat 9, with the Brummies putting in Tobias Mujelak as a tax sub, along with Matty Zagar, but round the outside was Jamin Lidsey in red, and look out for Zach Cook in blue, also making his way through. The Brummies' strongest race on paper of the meeting, but going spectacularly wrong, with Zagar and Mujelak left trailing. At this stage, heading into the race, it was 33.15, but the 5-1 from Lidsey and Cook making it 38.16, and so far the Belle Vue Heat leaders have proved to be absolutely unstoppable, and we're seeing once again with Dan Bewley in Heat 11 over Tobias Mujelak and Paco Castagna, and by the way, Brady Kurtz is also on a maximum as well. It's going to be a big victory here for the Belle Vue Aces. They are completely on top with 11 heats gone here. It is Belle Vue 44, Birmingham 22.
Yeah, I'm just down here on the start line at Oxford, just on gate 4, which I think is going to be a bit problematic for the boys later on. If we just have a little look down here, there's literally nothing here. It's just a few little bits of loose material. This outer side of gate 4 has literally not been used at all. It's rock hard, it's on the racing line. If you look across here, gate 3 and the others, there's material that they can use to pack back in. And so from gate 4, literally everybody's lining up right close to gate 3. If you see where the dirt goes a lighter shade, that is the racing line. That's really slick. So unless you get that jump and get your elbow across gate 3, you're going to have an awful lot of trouble. So you see a lot of the boys doing a bit of chirping. That's for you, Kel. They could be chirping off gate 4, trying to get that back wheel to hook up and get across gate 3, but it's going to be tough. Abby, over to you.
Scotty, you've got to talk to me about this chirping malarkey. I need to hear more chirping in my life. Right, we are going to resume with the Speedway because this is going to be a close end to this meeting this evening. But we have got the Speedway Grand Prix. It's round 8 and it's in Riga. We've got a few weeks to wait. It's Saturday, the 2nd of August. Kurtz, with his back-to-back victories, really now is taking it to Schmarslik. Just 9 points between the two. You can carry the momentum into Riga. He's never raced there before. Let's get back to the action then here at Oxford. Back to you guys in commentary.
Yeah, we're chirping away in here. Don't you worry about that, Scott. We have come to terms with it. Although I've never heard of it in over 35 years of being involved in the sport, I'm quite happy to take it on. You learn something every week. Now, this meeting has come alive here, Ollie. 33 points apiece. We've got Peter Kildemand coming in. Had to do it. Peter Stroke had to do that.
Yeah, he's not dropped a point yet, so it's time to get him in and really go at the Ipswich Witches and try and take the lead now. So yeah, no surprise to see him come in for Luke Killeen, who's had an off night, to be fair.
Say again, sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
Sorry, Luke, he's coming in for Luke Killeen, who hasn't had a great night,
no,
has he?
He gained a point last time, you're absolutely right. There's no lack of effort from Luke Killeen, but this evening just hasn't been able to get that bike hooked up. And with Peter Kildemand down at reserve going so well this evening, perfectly understandable for that change. And Kildemand will be, there he is, number 6 on his back, has started in fine style here tonight. Looking down on the Cowley Stadium here. Great to have Speedway back in this part of the world, that's for sure. Well received, heat number 12. The lineup for heat number 12 is Dan Thompson. He'll come out of gate number 1 in the yellow helmet colour. Carl Howarth comes out of gate 2 in red. Adam Ellis, gate 3 in white. And Peter Kildemand, the reserve replacement, will start from gate 4 in blue. Not easy from gate 4, but Kildemand, in the form he's in this evening, may well be able to figure things out. Encouraging times for Peter Stroke, who's had plenty of disappointment at times this season. I say the Ipswich Witches in the A fixture. This is the B fixture. Home and away, the Witches got the better of the Spires, but there's no doubt this evening this is a closer contest. So riders just using all the time up they possibly can. There's just about 30 seconds to go before they have to be at the tapes on their bikes, ready to go. If they're not, they'll be excluded. Craig Ackroyd will keep a close eye, our referee, on the time. And the clock is just rolling down. Adam Ellis, who will be very keen to get to the front, but this is a tense affair now. This is what the Premiership is all about. Hope you're enjoying it on TNT tonight. We certainly are now. It did look ominous earlier on with the Witches 10 points up. It's all square now. Revs are up, tapes up. They charge into the first turn and Thompson's made a lovely start. Howarth there trying to drift across the track, but Adam Ellis has made his way to second place. Very, very tight down the back straight. Howarth charging up the inside of Adam Ellis, but Ellis off the fence and the Witches are bouncing back in heat number 12. Such a difficult night to predict, but Thompson back to good form and Ellis has joined him.
Yeah, excellent start from Thompson. He's elected to keep a relatively tight line. Ellis is out there scraping the fence. He got round Howarth on the back straight to secure that 5-1 position. Howarth won't give up, but you'd have to say the Ipswich boys are looking pretty comfortable in front. And great ride there from the young reserve, Dan Thompson.
Thompson off the inside gate, got it all under control and into the last lap of heat 12. This will just settle the nerves a touch in the Witches' side of the camp. They'll have a 4-point lead at the conclusion through this last corner. And the Witches out of gates number 1 and 3 have bounced back in fine style. And I must say that Dan Thompson has come good there. It was a very useful performance from him. And he's had a decent night so far, the reserve rider. Peter Kildemand misses out for the first time this evening, but there's no doubt that the dirt was very wide indeed and pretty slick round the inside as well. So Thompson wins the race, 3 points for him. Adam Ellis back in second place, 2 points. 1 point for Carl Howarth, who never gave up in third place, and Peter Kildemand for the first time this evening just misses out in heat number 12. The Witches now 38 points to 34. Timely 5-1 for them.
Yeah, Dan Thompson, good start from gate 1. He's got his front wheel over the curb all the way around the first bend, and he actually comes out of the first corner a long way in front. The big battle there is between Ellis and Howarth. Howarth was fair with Ellis. He left him just enough room to get around the outside. And Adam now joins his teammate up front for a well-needed 5-1. But here we see the first bend again. Thompson in the yellow helmet on the inside. Watch his front wheel. Goes right around the inside. His front wheel's over the curb, which you're allowed to do. Just the one wheel. Has a look over his shoulder. His teammate's not there, so he moves out. Clever ride from him. It's looking good on the outside, and that all-action style of Howarth backing it into the turn 3 there.
Frightening. Frightening. Anyway, fortunately there was nothing came of it, but there's no doubt Adam Ellis just wound it on with Howarth coming at him, and they fired themselves to an impressive 5-1. Dan Thompson, very smart first turn. His old school ride has the bike right upright on the meat of the tyre, and controlled it beautifully as he went around that first turn, and he'll be really pleased to have picked up a win here this evening. What a heat 13 we have here. Wow, what a lineup. There's some big hitters here. And when you look down there for the Ipswich Witches, Jason Doyle and Emil Sayfutdinov, by golly, you'll be pleased to see them coming out for your team, wouldn't you? But I've got to say that it's still perfectly doable. Janowski hasn't been at his best. Richard Lawson has definitely ridden really well this evening and has picked up some very valuable points. What has Richard scored tonight? Well, scored 8 out of 9, so he's had a terrific night as a guest here for Erik Riss. Heat number 13, 4 points in it. It's been 4 points in it. It's been a terrific night at Speedway. Up and down, the Witches have seen their lead on a couple of occasions just evaporating. Will it do it again in Heat 13? Heat number 13, the lineup, what a race. Janowski's off the inside in the red helmet colour. Gate number 2, Doyle, missed out last time. He won't like that. He'll be looking for more here in this particular race. Gate 2 in white. Gate 3 in blue is Richard Lawson, who's had a smashing night so far, coming in as a guest. And Emil Sayfutdinov, who has been absolutely immaculate so far. He's off the outside in the yellow helmet colour, but that's been tough from there now. Later on, it's slick. Yeah. We've seen Scotty out there, not a lot of grip on the start.
No, you can see as you look ahead of Emil, you can see the racing line there. It looks very slick there. Like, there were race wins from there early on, but it's going to be tough now, and I'd be surprised if he can make a start from there. But if anyone can, it's the Russian Emil.
Sayfutdinov
can, yes.
He can indeed, and he may well be looking for plan B in the first corner. If he can't quite get there, you'll see, I reckon you'll see him tuck right back to the inside and get up the inside down the back straight. What a race in prospect. Premiership Speedway at its best here tonight in the sunshine in July in Oxford. Can't beat it. Tense times. Can they bounce back again? Because that 5-1 previously in heat number 12 was handy for the visitors here this evening. Janowski coming forward with 4 seconds to go. Settling down, Star Marshal moves away, green light comes on, takes her up. Let's get into the first turn. Janowski's got there, Doyle's right alongside of Janowski, electing to go very tight. Comes Lawson! Lawson with a stunning move in the first corner. Doyle now steaming up the inside in turns 3 and 4. Sayfutdinov trying to get up the inside. Oh my goodness gracious me! Ollie, how did they stay up? Sayfutdinov's come through in the 3rd place. Tremendous action on the first lap.
Yeah, really tight bends 3 and 4 there, with both Ipswich riders diving up the inside of Lawson. How Lawson stayed on, I don't know. But Magic looking classy out front. He's made a great start there, and he's clearing off in front. But all the action was on that first lap.
Janowski missing the fireworks behind, but he won't care. Massive lineup. And Janowski, who hasn't been at his best so far this evening, is really putting it out when he really needs to. Damage limitations looking like a shared heat here in heat number 13. But by golly, Richard Lawson did well to stay on his motorbike. Janowski wins heat 13 with Doyle and Sayfutdinov packing in for the minor places. 41 points to 37 with 2 races to go. And Janowski comes good when he really needed to in heat number 13, showing his class. My goodness, the move from Sayfutdinov, Richard Lawson. I don't think he's got much of a motorbike left at the front. Anyway, Janowski, stunning ride from him, 3 points out in front. Doyle back in 2nd place, 2 points. Sayfutdinov with a hard charging ride from him, 1 point in 3rd, and Richard Lawson misses out in heat number 13. Proper Speedway here tonight. Let's have another look at it, because it was pretty hairy at times early on.
Right, here we go. You see Magic from the inside in the red helmet. He He does the Dan Thompson line. He keeps it tight round the first bend. He's in front. Now Lawson's in second at the moment. Doyle now dives up the inside. He goes across the front of Lawson. Emil thinks, I'll have a bit of that and do the same thing and come straight across the front.
Excuse me.
To be fair to Emil, he did put the brakes on once he'd made contact. So, great start here again from, well, it's a close start, but Magic's in control of the corner, gets his front wheel over the curb. He takes control of the race here. Lawson sneaks across the corner. He's in second place. Doyle now in the white helmet. He dives up the inside. Lawson sees it coming and can allow for that. What he doesn't see coming is Emil in the yellow helmet. He creeps across the inside. Look how upright the bike is, trying to get all the grip on that back wheel. Comes across the front of him and says, excuse me, Mr. Lawson, I'll have that third place.
He very nicely looked at him while he was doing it, didn't he? But fortunately for Emil, Richard Lawson didn't go down. So Ruthless Speedway at the early stages of heat number 13. The conclusion of it was a shared race with Janowski coming through in flying colours. But top quality on show here tonight in Oxford. 37 points for the home team, 41 points for the visitors. They need another 4 points and they will win the evening. So they are in the driving seat with 2 races to go. So this is a hugely important race here for the home team to keep it all alive and take it to a last heat decider. A 5-1 to the Witches, and they'll win the night. But no doubt, a bit of pressure on Charles Wright here because he hasn't had a terrific evening. He's only scored a couple of points, and it would be timely for him to come forward with a win, but he's got gate number 4. So heat 14, tense times. Which way is it going to go? Line up for heat number 14. Tom Brennan will be looking for more points. Hasn't had a great night, but he's on the inside in the white helmet colour. Gate number 2, Peter Kildemand in blue. Gate 3 in yellow, Jason Edwards. And off the outside is Charles Wright in the red helmet colour. Got to say, gates 2 and 4, possibly not ideal, but the dirt's so wide in that corner, in that first corner. I mean, both corners in truth. It really is quite a decision. I think if I made the start, I'd have to hug the inside if I could, because it's such a long way to go to get any grip coming off the turn on the outside.
Yeah, totally agree. We've seen that mistake made a couple of times now, and riders have learned for it. Dan Thompson was the first to do it from the inside, and then Magic followed it up in the last one.
Did indeed. Riders just taking their time here to come forward. So a massive race. The Ipswich Witches can seal it all up here if they hit the front. But what can the Spires do to keep it going to heat number 15 when tapes are up? And it's tight into the first corner. Brennan makes the start. Got to say, Peter Kildemand takes care of Jason Edwards in the first turn. Very, very ruthless move from him. But Brennan then gets the advantage down the back straight. He's out in front. Here comes Charles Wright. Brennan a bit out of shape. This race is on. Can Kildemand get up the inside? He's coming at Brennan. Brennan going wide. He just about hangs on.
Yeah, good start there from Tom. He's running a wide line. He's leaving himself a little bit vulnerable. But I still think the fastest line when you're in front is out on that outside. But the gap is there for someone to take a dive if they're close enough. But at the moment, Brennan's in charge, Kildemand in second, and it's a 3-3 on the cards.
Indeed it is. It's looking like it's going to go to a last heat decider. Tom Brennan, who's had a bit of an up and down night. He's ridden well, but he hasn't got a lot of points to show for it. But he's going to finish his start here in heat number 14, picking up a useful win. But considering they had a 10-point lead earlier on, we're going to heat 15. And this is going down to a last heat decider. Brennan does the business for the Witches in heat number 14, picking up the win. But Kildemand and Jason Edwards coming through, excuse me, not Jason Edwards, it's Charles Wright coming through in third place. That keeps it to a 3-all. So 43 points to, 44 points to 40. Brennan, 3 points for him. Peter Kildemand in second place, 2 points. 1 point for Charles Wright, and Jason Edwards misses out in heat number 14. So they're nearly there, the Ipswich Witches, but you just never know, do you? Going into the last race.
Here we see Tom Brennan in the white helmet from the inside gate. Makes a great start. Kildemand absolutely smashes Edwards going into the first bend and deals with him.
It was quite tough there, wasn't it?
Yeah. If he'd gone down, could have argued there'd been an exclusion. Here we see again, Edwards makes a great start from gate 3 in the yellow helmet. He's front wheels in the air, finger on the clutch. He's almost across Kildemand. And Kildemand just uses his experience and sort of power and gives him a big nudge, moves him over. Edwards does very well to stay on the bike and not hit the fence. Tom Brennan in the meantime creeping around the inside. He takes control of the race. And Tom will be happy with that. I know Tom well. I know how frustrated he will have been with his night so far, so he'll be really pleased. A little wheelie there coming out turn 4, didn't plan it, but controlled it well. And after that, Kildemand had a little bit of a nibble here across the inside, but once the race settled and Tom built his speed up on the outside, he cleared off at a 3-3 for the Ipswich Witches.
So there we go. It's going down to the last race. Abby, it's been a terrific night so far.
It absolutely has, and there's so much teamwork amongst the Witches. Just helping out Dan, what's going on?
I don't know yet, but he feels something's happened with his engine, so we'll see.
Okay. You're such a team player, though. I've just been seeing you. You've just been working the pits. Aggressive move out in that last heat on Lawson.
Yeah. Just first corner was aggressive, and then I just tried to back, because each point, is important today. So we tried. The track is pretty good, and we just try to concentrate and focus about the start.
Yeah, and there's not much grip on that start, so you've got to be aggressive going into the first corner.
We just think we have to choose, which line it will be first corner is faster, and I hope that we choose, and we get some points.
Yeah, and some good heat wins from you, Emil, before that, and I saw Richie Hawkins talking to you, so I imagine you'll be back out in heat 15.
I hope it's really tough, because we missed a lot of points, today, and I hope with the setups, we're not still there, but we're finding. I think now I hope will be good, and I believe that's will be good start, and then I take some good points.
Yeah, good luck, Emil. Thank you for chatting. We have one heat remaining. It's heat 15. It's going down to the wire between the Oxford Spires and the Ipswich Witches, and the hashtag Oxvips. I finally got it right. Make sure you use that, and I'll ask Scotty your questions. There's some good questions coming in. Keep them coming. See you soon. Welcome back to Oxford. We are down to a last heat decide after 14 heats, 40 to 44. It's got really close as this meeting has gone on. The Ipswich Witches were off to a flying start, but the Spires have challenged hard. Right, let's get the manager's picks then for that final heat and join Scotty.
Yeah, thanks, Eben. With the team managers, going to come to Oxford team manager first, Pete Schrock. You've got the gate choice. Pete, it was looking a bit bleak early on, but fair play to the boys. They dug in and forced it to the last heat.
Yeah, it did look a bit bleak, doesn't it? So, but yeah, we forced it right to the last heat. 5-1 might give us even a super heat, who knows? But we knew it's going to be tough today, especially with these two now out there. So the boys have to be on their best behaviour. So we'll see what happens.
And you've had a bit of it's been a tough season, and you've had riders coming in and out. Obviously, 2 riders out through injury and illness tonight. Is it difficult kind of bringing boys in on such a crucial meeting like tonight?
It is, because we started getting a little bit of a momentum going, I know it sounds silly that it took that long, but when you start having that momentum, then you go into injuries again and all the emotional side and everything, it's quite hard. So, but, I think we've done quite well tonight so far. Just got to keep pushing on. That's all we can do.
Yeah, have you pushed it to that last heat? You have the gate choice, so can you tell us what rides and what gates you're going for, please?
We're going to go 1 and 3, and we're going to have Magic Janowski off 1 and Rowan Tungate off 3.
Okay, thank you, Pete. Richie, you kind of stole the march early on, banged a couple of 5 wins early, started to streak away with the lead, but like I just said to Pete there, they dug in and pulled back and started to apply the pressure towards the end.
Yeah, I know it's going to be tough. It's always tough every meeting. So, yeah, they fought really hard. We had a big 5-1 just after the interval, so that was really good for us. And hopefully the big boys can do the business now.
And how important, only the big boys, they're paid to do that job, but it must be quite nice to just do enough to take that pressure off before heat 15.
Yeah, obviously we don't use them every time in heat 15 if we don't need to, but they're both coming back into good form now, here and abroad, and that's a good time of the season to it be happening. So, yeah, tonight we need to rely on them, and we haven't had to do that for most of the season.
Well, it's a needs must, so it's pretty obvious who you're going to go, but if you could just tell us which gate positions they'll be in then, please.
Yeah, we're just swapping them around from heat 13, and Emil's going to go off gate 2 and Jason off 4.
OK, mate, thank you very much. Well, best luck to you boys. But before heat 15 kicks off, I'll hand over to Dave Rowe for a quick update.
Well, it's a meeting where the home heat leaders have been utterly dominant. Brady Kurtz and Dan Bewley both unbeaten, as is Jamin Lidsey out in front here in heat 12. The battle actually on out the back with Jake Mulford trying to go around the outside of Jack Smith. Good tussle here, and watch out for Smith in yellow coming back through on the inside, and Jake Mulford in blue going down as a result, but he's perfectly okay, and Jack Smith gets that third place for the Brummies, but no stopping Jamin Lidsey out in front on his way to his 4th win of the meeting. And that's been the story of the night. Belle Vue heat leaders in dominant form, and we saw it again in heat 13. This Dan Bewley Brady Kurtz combination, which is going to be so hard for any side to crack around here this year, in 4th once more, this time against Tobias Bijelak and Matti Zagar. Zagar started encouragingly when he led Bewley for 3 laps in heat 4, but couldn't do anything beyond that, and these two are both unbeaten, and Belle Vue heading for a big victory in Manchester tonight. 14 heats gone, it's Belle Vue 55, Birmingham 29.
Dave, thank you. Well, here in Oxford, it's heat 15 and it's time for the big boys to go out. It's our last heat deciding if you're into your bikes. You've got more motorsport to enjoy across the network. MotoGP, it's the Grand Prix of Germany. That starts Friday, 8 a.m. on TNT Sports 2. The World Superbikes, they're in Donington. It's the UK round. That starts Friday, 10:15. TNT Sports 3. British Speedway will be back in action next Monday at Sheffield. We'll be watching Oxford again, but up at Earlton, and that's 7:30 usual time on TNT Sports 1. And British Superbikes, round 5 for them. They're in Brands Hatch, and that's live. And it starts Saturday, 26th of July at 1 p.m. on TNT Sports 4. But Ollie and Cal, it's a big heat 15. We could go to a super heat. Over to you guys.
Yes, thanks very much, Abby. Yep, it's been a terrific night, topsy-turvy night, but it does go down to heat 15. The Witches, of course, are in the driving seat. They need 1 point to get to 45. They're on 44, and they will win the evening. But you just never know. You just never know. But fair play to the Oxford Spires, Ollie. They haven't thrown the towel in. They got off to a poor start, but they've battled back well.
They did. I didn't see it coming, to be honest. They after 4 or 5 races, I thought they were dead and buried, but showed great character to come back.
Absolutely. At heat 6, they were still 10 points down, and then they turned it around. And by heat 11, they were all square. So heat number 15, 44 points for the Witches, 40 points for the Spires. Line up for you, Janowski, a winner in heat number 13. He goes off the inside in the red helmet colour. Gate number 2 in white is Emil Sayfutdinov. Gate 3 in blue is Rowan Tungate, and off the outside, possibly the lucky or the unlucky Jason Doyle to get gate 4 at this stage. Goes from the outside in the yellow helmet colour. Been a great night of Speedway. The Ipswich Witches are beginning to find some form, but encouraging signs from the Spires. There are 2 legs about this, and there's a bonus point as well. So even though they only need 1 point, the Witches, those top 2 boys, they'll want a 5-1 if they can. So with 36 seconds to go, riders just doing plenty of work. Been a dry evening, been a dry day, despite the fact that we had some rain overnight. But the track has gone pretty slick, actually. This track is used a lot. Race in the championship as well. They're racing again midweek as well if you fancy coming down here. Lovely stadium, super environment if you want to come and watch a Speedway meeting. The Oxford Cheetahs racing midweek here in Cowley. But we, more importantly right now, have got heat number 15 to determine which way this meeting will go. Ipswich in the driving seat, 4 laps to come. Rain, the green light's on, shapes are up. Janowski's made an absolutely dream start. Sayfutdinov follows him through the first corner. Around the outside comes Jason Doyle, but Janowski holds firm. I've got to say, Janowski's reactions on the start line were absolutely immaculate. Janowski on the back wheel, going down the start and finish straight. Janowski, here comes Simon. Oh, they've all gone down.
Doyle's taken 2 down.
My goodness gracious me. Chaos going into turn 2. The race is stopped. Yes, it has been and had to be, because crikey, that really was a dramatic moment coming into the first time for the second time around. Tungate's on his feet, that's good to see. Doyle looks okay, Sayfutdinov's okay. Craig Ackroyd, the referee, has had a pretty quiet night. Well, all of a sudden he's got some big decisions to make now, because that really was chaos in the first turn. We'll watch it again.
Yeah, like you said during the race, great reaction from Magic from gate 1. He's controlling the race here around the first bend. Emil has a little look up the inside. Magic now chooses to let the bike run to the outside. Doyle's building up speed on the outside. Keep your eye on Doyle in the yellow helmet. He cuts back to the inside. First of all, he gets his teammate. Then he gets Magic. 2 down for the price of 1. And then Rowan lays it down as well. I've never seen that before. I've never seen it.
All 4 riders on heat number 15 on the deck.
Yeah.
I suspect that Jason Doyle will go here for cleaning up his teammate and the leader of the race as well. Jason Doyle is going to be possibly a touch embarrassed when he watches that one back.
Yeah.
But look at the drama that's caused as a consequence. And of course, Rowan Tungate, who's just minding his own business at the back, he's got bikes and bodies everywhere, had to drop the bike.
Yeah.
Doyle, who's had a good night. You can't fault the effort, but just didn't work out that particular time. He is out of the race, and as a consequence, when I say he's out of the race, there is...
Well, I can't see anyone else going.
No. But good to see everybody is A-OK, because there was no doubt that could have ended in tears. I see it again, you described it nicely. We've got to say that Janowski's a winner here, but Janowski actually creates an issue, because loses his momentum coming out of turn 4.
Doyle has a little look to his left, fancies his chances up the inside, and it's at this point here where Emil's turned and Doyle hasn't that we've got a problem. And Doyle, he gets one. I mean, it's comical, really. I shouldn't laugh, but we're all 4 are up. They're all okay.
I'm laughing. I can't believe what I've just... I can laugh because they're all okay.
Yeah. I mean, it was comical, really. It's like dominoes. There's one. And here's the second one. Yeah, boom. Take that.
I'm going to have to take you as well.
What's good is he got his teammate.
I think Tom Brennan's facial expression tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
And as a consequence of that, Jason Doyle won't be in the rerun.
No.
But there's no doubt that Janowski, having made a fantastic start initially, he's got to do it all again. Sayfutdinov just needs a point. That's all they need, and they will win the night. But the drama continues here, with Heat 15 having to be restaged. 44 points to the Witches, 40 points to the Spires, 1 point required by Sayfutdinov. But there's no doubt that it isn't very often when you see all 4 riders coming down as they go into lap number 2. Okay, so Janowski just getting a hurry up. We've got less than 2 minutes now with the clock ticking down for riders to be at tapes, ready to go. Here comes Janowski first up. Rowan Tungate needs to join him. There he is. He's just getting himself prepared. He's all right. Sayfutdinov, I can see him coming out of the pits as well, so he's going to make his way round. As I say, Sayfutdinov just needs to finish 3rd, and they'll just steal the night. But just making us wait a little longer after the drama that was heat number 15 first time around. So Emil just making his way back to the start line for the restart of heat number 15. We're just catching our breath for exactly what went on there. That was really quite extraordinary. Don't see it that often. So fans keenly looking on. They probably can't quite believe what they just watched. Tom Brennan's mouth was wide open. He could absolutely shock horror all over his face. A bit like us here in the commentary box as well.
Second time of asking then for heat number 15. Janowski, the fast-starting Janowski, he's on the inside red helmet colour. Sayfutdinov alongside him, good to see him A-OK. Gate 2 in white, gate 3 in blue is Rowan Tungate. Jason Doyle is not there because he's excluded here out of heat number 15. 1 point required for the Witches to get over the line tonight. It's been tougher possibly than I expected. They were 10 points up early doors, but the Spires have battled back. Here we go, green light's on, tapes are up, Janowski's done it again, tight into the first corner. Sayfutdinov electing to go very, very wide. Here comes Tungate up the inside, can he quite get there? Look at the speed that Sayfutdinov generated, round turns 3 and 4. Sayfutdinov hanging in second place, but Tungate's lurking there. Janowski and Sayfutdinov going at it out in front.
Yeah, Magic opting to use that inside line. It's clear that Emil's a little bit faster than him, but does Emil risk that second place? Because at the moment, if it stays as it is, Ipswich have got a win in the bag. Magic looking good in front on the inside. You can see Emil's trying to switch up his lines to keep Tungate confused, I think. Now he goes back to the inside, covers that second place.
Janowski off the fence, here comes Sayfutdinov into the last lap, still searching for a way through. It goes wide. Janowski spinning up on the slick surface, he's down the back straight for the last time. Here comes Sayfutdinov with 1,000,000 miles an hour, right round the outside, the charge to the line. So Janowski's done it. Ipswich win the night with the 2 points. Janowski finishes his night off in style by winning heats 13 and 15, but it's a tight score, 46 points to 44. Got a feel for the home team, they did awfully well tonight, but in the end, the Witches just had a little bit too much. Jason Doyle just reflecting on what happened first time around in heat number 15. But a terrific night of Speedway, and despite the fact that the Spires have got beaten tonight, they will be encouraged by a much better display against one of the best teams in the league here tonight. Result for Janowski, brilliant ride from him under immense pressure, 3 points out in front. Sayfutdinov back in second place, 2 points. Tungate back in third, and Jason Doyle was disqualified from the restaging of heat number 15. We'll watch it again. But Janowski sharp away from the tape.
Yeah, Bike makes an excellent reaction from gate 1. He's on the clutch on the way to the first bend. Magic then, he decides to stay low on the first corner, hucks that inside. Emil goes wide to try something different. And for a lap or two, Rowan put him under a little bit of pressure for that second place. But I think Emil in second place, he had more speed than Magic, but I think he was weighing up whether it was worth trying to overtake him or whether he just stay in second place. So he was sort of mixing up his lines, inside one corner, outside the next. A really classy ride from both riders out in front. You know, really class personified from the pair of them.
Smashing night at Speedway. I've got to ask you, Ollie, before we conclude tonight, who's your cabin master rider of the night, please?
For me, it's Peter Kildemand. He's not had a great season, but he's bounced back tonight, 11 points from reserve, so he'll be very pleased with that.
Good showing from Peter Kildemand. He is the cabin master rider of the night. But Speedway's the winner tonight in the Premiership. Smashing night at Speedway, and there's no doubt that we have seen some but terrific action. And for the moment, we'll make our way back down to Abbey.
Emil walk through the pits, and Jason Doyle gave him a handshake. So yeah, that was a moment in Heat 15. Never seen that in my 5 years in the sport either. It's been a cracking night of Speedway, Witches getting the win, but Oxford really, hopefully, buoyed by this performance as they had that emphatic victory over Birmingham last week as well. Okay, when we come back, we'll hopefully be speaking to a couple of the riders. I'm seeing Jason Doyle just to my left. We might see if we can grab a word with him, or maybe not if he's still a bit angry. See you in a moment. Welcome back to Oxford. It's actually been a cracking night of Speedway. It was down to a last heat decider, and Witches take the win, but just by 2 points. And this is what it means then for the standings after tonight's Speedway. It is Ipswich Witches. They resume their position at the top of the table with 25 points. Sheffield Tigers second now with 24. Belle Vue in third with 24 as well, getting the win, an emphatic win over Birmingham tonight. and Leicester Lions in 4th. Outside the playoffs, Kings Lynn, Oxford Spires, Birmingham, Brummies. I'm looking over the monitor, but I've got Magic and Emil just chatting and I think just having a word about that Heat 15. What a crazy moment that was. But before we hear from them, let's hear from Peter Kildemand. He's with Scott Nichols.
Yeah, thanks, Abby. I'm with Peter. You are the cabin master rider tonight. Phil Morris, the CEO, is going to hand you your trophy and your bottle of bubbly. Well deserved, mate. You rode exceptionally hard tonight against a tough team, so you must be happy to get this award for tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they were a tough team. You know, they're good from 1 to 7, but yeah, I think we put in a fair good show to try to run them hard, but yeah, it wasn't enough.
It was tough, and obviously when Ipswich just gone top of the table again, and when you're faced with a team as tough as Ipswich and Oxford have had an up and down season, does that kind of apply more pressure to you boys?
I didn't want to say it. Yeah, it does. You know, when the top dogs come, you know, you really want to put in, but yeah, they were just better than us, really.
And it's great you see you racing in the UK again. You've not been here for a few years. You enjoying it?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad to be back. So that's brilliant.
And then where do we go from here? Obviously Oxford now still pushing for that playoff, so Pete Schrock is obviously going to be putting his foot up your backside to keep pushing even harder.
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing is over yet, so yeah, we just need to push on, yeah.
Okay, well done, mate. Thanks for chatting to us. Keep pushing. Abby, back to you.
Thank you, Scotty. Well, I said that they were chatting, so it felt like a perfect opportunity to have them both in the interview. Let's talk about that Heat 15. Magic, at one stage, all the fireworks was happening behind you, but then it caught up with you, and it was quite a moment with all 4 down.
Yeah, I didn't expect what happened because I knew I closed Emil on the inside, and then somehow Jason was in front of me, and four bikes on the floor. So yeah, sometimes this thing happens.
So we're going to watch it now. Yeah, we're seeing it in shot. So that was the moment that was a bit unexpected, Magic.
Almost. That was almost not. That at least anyone get hurt. So that's the most important. It was a little bit dangerous. Congrats to Emil and his team. Ipswich is on the top of the league. Really hard to beat. Very strong team. And yeah, not today.
Your Oxford boys, though, put in a great showing. Emil, Jason clipped you first before getting Magic, though, but it's like Magic said, it was the best thing that no one was hurt.
I'm also expected to know is that when it's Jason touched me, so yeah, just good everyone is is walk to the pits, and yeah, so it was tough, this Heat 15 also always, and just we try to push, especially scores when it's like close, and every point is important. So yeah, I never see like 4 riders in fall. So when I'm rolling in the track, just it's opened my eyes, just see like 4 riders, it's lying. So oh. It was a big one.
Yeah, it's like dominoes, and the fact is you're all big names in the sport as well, so it's like, oh gosh, we've got various Grand Prix champions just going down on the floor, but luckily, as we mentioned, no one's hurt. Both individual performances, though, picking up big points, both of you.
Yeah, good. Emil always been flying over here, and so I'm happy with my performance. Finally, last 2 meetings got some good scores, and yeah, I will try to keep going like that, and yeah, I'm happy for that.
Magic, thank you, and another great one from you, Emil. And this is what I love about this sport. How many sports would you get to have competitors chatting side by side? That doesn't happen straight after a meeting as well.
Yes, our sport is special, so that's why we love, this sport, and so we get like 110%, is each hit, and that's we make like for the team, and we have also like individual meetings. So which one is we can do from ourselves, and yeah, that's our sport. I hope getting more popular, in around the world.
Emil, thank you and congratulations for this evening. That last reminder of the hashtag Oxfips. Every time I say it, I'm questioning myself and my intonation of that. The brilliant questions have come in. This is your last chance, and I'll be speaking to Scott and asking those questions after this short break. Welcome back. It's been a brilliant night of Speedway. It's Ipswich that take the win just by 2 points. And tomorrow we've got a huge cycling lineup for you with stage 3 of the Women's Giro d'Italia and stage 4 of the iconic Tour de France. Plus, we'll be back in action. British Speedway continues next Monday, where Oxford Spires will be facing the Sheffield Tigers. Now it's time for hashtag Mr. Nichols. Not talking about chirping, not talking about the coin toss.
No, we're not doing coin tosses either.
We have to. Okay,
it's not
here
as
we
easy
go.
as you think.
Then we've got some tasty questions coming in tonight. This is from Stuart Bell. Hi, Stuart. Do guests receive more money than normal guest riders as a rule?
Controversial. It's all down to the rider. I mean, as a give it, sometimes they will. It's just business, isn't it? Depends if the club is desperate, then they'll try and squeeze a few more pounds out of them. But a lot of the time, generally, it'll be your going rate. But yeah, if they're desperate, then you ask for a bit more coin.
I like that. We often talk about money in Speedway, don't you? Anyway, let's get on to your shoulder. This is from Charlie Cheeseman. You were practicing at pool. Were you doing any chirping alongside your practice?
I did a little bit of chirping. I wanted to see how the shoulder was, but no, it was okay. It wasn't too bad. It was, track was a little bit bumpy, which is probably a good test in a way. So, I want to do a little bit more before I sort of fully commit. But fingers crossed, it didn't feel too bad.
Oh, great. And
not too shabby for an old bloke.
No. Don't put yourself down. What about why pool?
I was actually due to have a practice here, but the meeting was cancelled, and I just wanted to get some practice on. I wanted practice on a track that was in kind of race condition. So obviously Matt Ford and Midlow down at Poole were kind enough to let me do a few laps after. Nice.
Okay, another nice little controversial question. We like this. This is from Zeph Chapman. What's Scotty thoughts on getting a warning? This is about Danny King, I'm sure. If you touch or go through the tapes after a rider inside or outside of you has jumped on the start line.
Look, I'm not a fan of the warning system. I'm not a fan of this. You have to be totally stationary. I think, if you're prepared to take a little bit of a gamble and you don't touch your tapes, whether that's with the bike or physically with you, then I think you should get away with it. I think the meeting would just run a lot faster. There wouldn't be these restarts all the time. I think it's so scrutinised that, you're bearing in mind that, you're like a coiled spring at the start. The bike is revving hard. You just want to make that reaction. Somebody's only got to move their fingers. They don't have to move their body. They can just move their fingers. The referee doesn't see that. The rider jumps. So I'm not a fan of the warning system personally.
Yeah, it's tricky. Danny didn't seem too happy as he came in.
No, I wouldn't be.
And was Doyle all right? Because it was his doing in Heat 15, but he came off the track pretty angry.
Yeah, I mean, it's he just wants to win all the time, doesn't he?
I think it's character.
Just, people will say, why did he do this or why did he do that? But I mean, you're bearing in mind, come down that straight. It's a split-second decision. It's such a quick reaction, and look, he didn't mean to do it. He just wants to win races, doesn't he?
A great night of Speedway, though.
It was fantastic. I was a bit nervous thinking Ipswich are running away with the early doors, but full credit to Oxford. They got back in the game and down to last seat decider.
Yeah, and we're going to see Oxford again next time out, and it's our first trip to Oleton.
Yeah, and Sheffield's a tough place to go. We've seen that they're very dominant at home, but I think hopefully these boys can take a little bit of confidence from something they've lost, but they will have gained a lot of confidence from pulling back, and great to see Magic have a better night. Yeah,
and it was really great to chat to him as well. And it's always good to see the camaraderie and who chats to who. Oxford put in a great performance, but Ipswich, they're back to the top of the table. See you next week.